And welcome everybody. Venus right here to post for the intro. How y'all doing?
Feliz aniversario artístico, Val.
Thank you, gracias. Welcome folks. Hammy, Siphon, Wen, Bill, Siegfried, Funky Sora, Lilith. Lilith, thank you so much for 2 years of subs. Arky, Owl, hi everybody. Squee. Good to see you all. Eating chocolate chip cookies in my honor. Hell yeah. Here's to your cookies. So today marks 5 years since I posted the very first piece of horror art that I, ever did. It's kind of the start of what would become my current career. So it's personal. It's important to me. Salud. Cheers. Venus here to celebrate as well. So today we're just gonna hang out. We're gonna reminisce. Dragon Girl, thank you so much for the sub. We're just gonna chill. We're gonna look through 5 years of things, and yeah, I want you to tell me, like, what are your favorites? What are the most memorable ones? I'm gonna tell stories, and hopefully by the end of the stream we'll more or less catch up with the present, and maybe think of like other things that are coming in the future. You're not late, Pyro. We just started. So yeah, first of all, Lilith, thank you so much for that gifted sub. First of all, thank you all. This one's to you. Cheers to you. For just like being here for 5 years, or probably for most of y'all less than that, but to however long you've been following my work and just like seeing it and engaging with it, and especially to those who like physically support on things like Patreon and stuff. It's what's allowed me to turn this into like something I can make a living out of, which is incredible. Been following since the facade. Oh yeah, how long have you guys been following? I wanna know the stats. I'm not gonna make stats, but I wanna get an idea. What's like the first piece you remember? Around the same time as Trevor made the Siren Head art? Oh, and that's early. I mean, Trevor made a lot of Siren Head art. You mean the original? I think that was earlier than I started. When I started, Trevor was already like known for Siren Head. Getting JPEG'd on my anniversary stream. Most of us found Val through Trevor retweeting his work. Oh yeah, definitely at first, like the first few thousand followers were from that, definitely. Haha, the unJPEG wins today. What was that noise?
Crossed my radar and then you did chaos and noticed you. I think it was one of the book photo edits.
That narrows it down a little to possibly like years ago, but...
Y joined the server in 3 de noviembre de 2021, so whatever you posted around that time probably.
Very specific, I like that. The JPEG is back. The battle continues. Siegfried says, I'm eternally grateful for your community, for you, for everyone here. Oh, thank you so much. And right back at you. December 12th last year. I love that people have like very specific dates. Oh my god, level 3 JPEG. I love that some people have pulled out the receipts. Oh, there it goes, Bean. Whoa, big jump. 2021 following Twitch, nice.
I was retweeting a bunch of your Twitch stream links for like a year, I think, and then I caved and made my Twitch profile.
Wait, you were watching on Twitch for a year without a profile? Like, were you lurking in the background? That's some deep hammy lore. You can take on Twitch when you started following a channel. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, it's incredible that so many people have seen my work and found my work and just like liked it and engaged with it. I only, you know, I don't make work for like social media and to get numbers there. It is first and foremost, it's work that I make for myself out of my own like weird fixations. So the fact that it's found so many people is it's strange to me still, but like deeply grateful for that it reached a bunch of people, and that people resonated with it.
No, I just got your links on Twitter without looking for a while, but I also wanted to show the posts of how you were clearly having fun with it.
So we're just blindly retweeting.
Watching,
I love
I
that.
decided to say what it was about. You're the first person I followed on Twitch for anything.
Nice. I love that. 2 whole years, almost 3. Nice, Pyro. Garbage creature fan art from Trevor. I can check that. Also, Bean, what are you screaming about? He woke up because I started speaking. When's that piece from? April 2021. Sorry. And just 1 month later, you commissioned a thing. May 21. You were literally in the back of a cab making a Twitch profile on the way home. You're getting pissed because Twitch wouldn't let you watch the stream. Classic Twitch. Classic Twitch. Yeah, it is. I guess first let me tell you what I did for today. As the JPEG. Oh! Getting on JPEG. Hi, everybody. You can see me clearly now. Let me tell you about what I did today, because I think I posted it at a weird hour, so a lot of people haven't seen it yet. But you should, because I remade my very first horror story. And this is like, you might remember the images themselves are from a while ago. This has been in the background, cooking in the background for a while. But the text I made over the last like few days, the JPEG is back. That was quick, y'all. So, if you go to any of my socials, just choose Blue Sky. Bean, don't scream at me. If you go to any of my socials, you'll see this possibly familiar story. This right here, very first horror edit I ever did. And the little story that goes with it. You know, it was a pretty short story, ended fairly abruptly, right? I figured what a good way, the best way to celebrate 5 years since then was to take that and sort of remake it, expand on it a little bit and continue it. So I made the story of what happened in the ship after they found this. So, well, let's just go through it. The following documents, a lot of the text is like from the original. Most of the stuff is later, the new stuff is later on, although there's some edits in the original text. The following documents were retrieved from the remains of the ship's storaker. Its crew and most of its cargo lost in a storm off the coast of Denmark while returning from an archaeology expedition to the Viking burial ground of Sundrum. So we got 2 pictures. We'll see them later on. Excerpt from the diary of the main archaeologist, Ture J. Arne. Pictured right, obviously. March, it wouldn't be left. March 22nd, 1905. We found something strange today. This artifact. It doesn't look like anything we've seen from the Old Norse. A piece of loot from one of their raids, perhaps. The crew is quite disturbed by it. As much as I hate to admit it, it makes me feel uneasy too. When I touched its surface, I felt a nearly imperceptible vibration inside. None of the others seemed to notice. Tomorrow, we'll load it on the ship and take it to Copenhagen. And here's the new stuff. Arne's diary, March 25th. The mood on the ship has been odd. Some men have grown obsessed with my artifact. They try to pry it open and free what's inside. The captain sent crewmen to watch over the cargo and stop the fights. I tried to sneak in to see it at night, but they saw me. Here's one of the new photos. Arne's diary, March 27th. They will not take it away from me. I am the head of this expedition. This finding will put my name on the history books. I will not let these thugs see what's inside before me. They say a storm is coming. That might be my moment to take it, free it. Later entry, undated. The storm is here. I hear the men fighting outside now. It is time. We finally get this image. Struggle over the surface of the ship while a storm is raging. Somebody's falling overboard. And right in the center, the pupa is opening. We get nothing else. That's the end. The remains of the ship's storaker were found in April 1905, drifting in the Kattegat area. The ship was heavily damaged. No living crew was found on board. Artifacts matching the images were never located and are presumed lost at sea. So that's the story. The updated version of the story. Just a little bit more, right? Like, we get a little bit more of what happened in the middle, rather than, like, in the original story, if you read it, it cuts off from we're taken into the ship, to the ship appears, and the what happened in the middle is sort of a mystery. So I figured, let's just expand upon that a little, and, you know, with the knowledge of every other piece of lore from Megalomorpha.
Right as you said, a storm is raging. It's thundered outside my apartment cause it's raining RN.
Great timing, great timing. Hi Bean, what you doing up there? Hi. He's on the like the dirty clothes hamper thing. You're a big jumper. In case. Yeah, I don't know if you hear Bean screaming. He has a lot to say today.
That's the mark of a good horror stream. Even nature wants to join in the dark and stormy night in the story.
I love that. 30 plus notifications. Yeah, that's what happens when you post something. I mean, it didn't do great, and I think it's mainly because it's a story people have already seen for the most part. So, since people are already familiar with it, a lot of them probably skipped over it, thinking like, oh, I know this, it's a repost. I'm like, no, read it, it has new stuff. But still, I'll take it. I still expanded the story and brought it to, you know, a place I'm happier with. Dragon says, and all the time I follow your content, you've become one of my biggest inspirations. Oh, thank you so much. I'm almost done with your associates in graphic design, slowly making that dream a reality. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Dragon.
Excuse me one more, need to correct something on Lueski.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. But yeah, Dragon, like, that's the best thing you can tell an artist. The best thing to make them feel happy is to tell them like you've been an inspiration to me. Like that makes my day. So thank you so much. Happy birthday to Bug. The number of blue sky notifications pains me. You know, it's because they combine everything here. There we go. Hi, Hammy. Now you don't have to see them. Anyway, we've read the story, but the cleaner version is on here. It's the same text. Oh, it's a little expanded actually, because I had to cut it down a little bit due to the text limits. So here it's like formatted a little differently, but it's mostly the same. Yeah, if you want to read any of my stories, the best place to do that is my website. In case you didn't know, in case someone here has only like seen my stuff on socials, go to website. It's the best place to get stuff. And yeah, all my work is there. You got little collections that group it together by topic, or you know, when it's a series, it's grouped together by series. You got Megalomorph and Fractal here on the sidebar. Shiba-Totec is right here. And if you want to read Megalomorpha, here it is. And it is ordered with the oldest ones here, but since the oldest one got an update, it's now bumped all the way up here. I now added, you know, I've reformatted a few things. I added titles to them. So, you know, these have always had like internal titles. It's always like the something, right? It's the artifact, the stranding, the expedition, the mosaic, the anthropologist, the report, the circus, the forest, right? They all have like titles like that. I kind of made it official because I felt it looked nicer as, you know, with a little header. They used to not have headers. Also, Bean. What's up? I think he wants to go outside. Let me open the door for Bean. Let's see. Hope it's urgent. Nice. We'll be back for the Bean soon. Warm up the string and chore, bless the walls of your abode. Hell yeah. Great choices. But yeah, if you want to catch up with Megalomorpha, I'll put up a link in the chat as well. Each of these little squares here is a little story, like the one we just saw. These ones on top, like the top ones, are a little bit more complete in terms of stories, because I just got a little better, a little more confident in telling longer stories. Still short stories, but you know, slightly longer stories as I made more of them. So the first ones are, the ones on the bottom are a little simpler, but you know, they're still all individual, so you can read them sort of in any order. The only ones that are related are these two, the anthropologist and the Megalomorpha, the title, the title part of the series, which are like have the same main character, but other than that, you're an inspiration to just be true to myself about my writing. Thank you so much. You write the stories you want to see. Exactly what you should do. Ah, crisp again. Ah, my pores. You accidentally broke your 100 long watch streak. Oh no! I'm sorry, Siphon, that sucks. You had it. I think you had the longest streak. So, rest in peace, Siphon's streak. In all seriousness, finding you and in turn finding this community was probably the best thing to ever happen to me. Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear. Reason to get back into drawing too. Nice. The JPEG is back just as soon as it was gone. Making you all spend all your points today.
All the love in my heart. I'm gonna sit back and watch the pegging war raging in the chat tonight.
The pegging war.
The best additions you've ever made to your streams.
Yeah, I love the JPEG reward. It's so funny. Only got 1k left. You're spending your points for the war, the cause. We're level 3 already. If anybody's gonna spend the points to do the JPEG Ultra, now's the time. But yeah, this is the very first horror edit I did. This is how everything started. And it feels so long ago.
The urge for vandalism, but contained into a simple back and forth. Endless war of the JPG.
JPG. I love how she says JPG. So let me tell you a little bit about my work before horror. Let's go all the way back. I was born in 1996. No, I'm kidding. I actually started doing Photoshop stuff when I was like 14, I think. Because my mom did a lot of like graphic design and stuff, and she had all the Adobe programs. So I just picked up Photoshop and started like messing around with it. Oh, I'm crisp. Started messing around with Photoshop, and at first I just did like very silly things, which I'm gonna show you. I'll just drag them into the browser like that. This is one of my very first Photoshop edits, right here. This is 2010, so I was 13. Right, depending on the month, hold on. I was either 13 or 14. I was 14, December 2010. According to my computer. Which might be a little wrong on the dates. That's the date it was exported as a JPEG, but you know, could have been made earlier. So we know it was around that time. You picked here, yeah. It's all been downhill from there, honestly. Let's see. Things I made in... Things I made in 2010. My very first Photoshop edits. I make very cringy things. It's 2011, right? Here, some lady walking a large chicken. I don't know.
Dios mío, la criatura.
What else do I have around here? Where's Napoleon? I got my older edits are kind of messy in the way they're ordered. Oh, here's Napoleon. 2012, so that's a little later. Or at least some version of it is from 2012. I think I edited this a couple times. This, surprisingly, the silly edit I made when I was like 14 is still going around the internet. I feel really bad about it because I stole his image, the T-Rex. I just found it on DeviantArt and didn't ask anybody because I was just a kid like trying out Photoshop. I posted it to DeviantArt, and I guess the rest is history. Just your emotional support chicken, exactly. This piece of lore, yeah, that's deep Val lore. If you've ever seen this image around the internet, which a lot of people told me they've seen it, that's my fault. You'd put that picture on your wall. I hope the person who made that T-Rex never found out. Anyway, that was like my very early story of Photoshop. After that, like 2014, 15, around that time, I, I love doing these little things, and I still did them from time to time. But I wanted to do art, and not for a living. I just wanted to do art, and there's this idea around the internet that, especially around that time, that art, like shortcuts in art are a bad thing. So, you know, things like photo bashing, a lot of people hated photo bashing. And it just made me feel bad about like using Photoshop. It's like, oh, that's not real art, right? So I still did it from time to time because I liked it. But I figured like I want to get good at like real arts. So I did other things. I did drawings. I did digital painting. A little bit of it. Like I dabbled. I didn't do it like super dedicated and seriously. Otherwise, I might have ended up being like an illustrator or something, like something completely different. Because to me it was like, oh, that's how you get good at like real arts. Let me show you a couple drawings. Hold on, I don't have these on hand, but let's see. And I made little things, like a hippo and a bike, or this little rat. Hi, that's like, the background is iffy, but I really like the subject here. I think it came out really nice. That's 2015. So yeah, I did a lot of like little things. These are from like over the years. I'm not doing them in order. This is just me learning things. There's stuff I never finished. Like this crab. I did the subject and then I got to the background. I was like, oh no, it's a busy city. I did a few buildings and then I got tired. And then I never colored it. But it is the thing I did. I started at least. To me, old art is really special since it shows the growth of an artist and how they evolve. I agree, Pyro. Remember when people thought creating your own references was cheating? Yeah, like there's still people who think like that, but I feel like it was a specific attitude in like that deviant art era. It was just like kids. So, it didn't reflect what like the professional art world thought of anything, but it's just kids being kids, right? So it is, you got to take it from that lens. But yeah, I did still like dabble. I did things like these. A lot of it I didn't finish, but I still like hopefully grabbed some skills. One can hope. This is a raccoon on roller skates. There's a traditional. When's my birthday? November 20th. You're the same age I was when I started making art, 14. Nice. Well, you've seen my earliest work. You're already doing better than that, so keep going. It's actually an old photo, that's why it's black and white. Yeah, we'll just say that. We'll just say it's that and not unfinished.
Really close to my husband's.
We're linked. You have a DIY storybook you made when you were like 10. Oh, that's cute. You gotta hold on to these things.
You Scorpio.
Probably. I think I'm a Scorpio, yeah. I don't know anything about that. In any case, yeah, I did more like traditional arts for a few years. And then, early 2017, actually January 2017, I decided I'm gonna like try doing photo manipulation like seriously as like an art medium. I shook off the stupid idea of, you know, it's not real art, and I said like, let me like actually lean into it. Let's see what I can do with photo manipulation. And at that time I changed, I had a personal Instagram account. I wiped it off my personal photos and I just started posting art there. It's still my Instagram nowadays. It used to be a personal account, but this was the very first thing I made back then. It's a kraken taking down a ship. So, you know, kind of horror. The rest of the stuff I did was more surreal, but it is horror-ish. Actually, I have one thing that I made in 2013. Is the original version of it. Hold on. 2013. So, like, this is a year after the Napoleon one. I did this. Giant crows attacking people. There's a person there. She's running. She'll make it, I'm sure. This was, like, honestly, like, I still look at it, and it's a pretty good edit. Like, especially for that time. Let me get the camera out here. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I got a later version that I like retouched a little bit, did the colors, because I figured like, you know, the edits, it's mostly fine, but the colors were like, I redid them in 2021. The only not real art is AI generated images. Yeah, that can't be art. Art has to be made by a person. Quick, dox your birthday again. November 20th. It's not a dox. My birthday is public, don't worry. Also, let me get the bean, because he should be out by now. Mouse.
Oh, that's actually close
The
to two
bean
of my
is
family
here.
members.
Fun fact, my birthday is the same date that the Spanish dictator Franco died.
Speaking of family.
Just speaking of family. That's the whole message. Yeah, the Spanish dictator Franco died November 20th. So every year on my birthday, I would have people celebrating the death of a dictator, which is really cool. Don't say that, Bill. Dog's Bean's birthday? We don't know. Bean's birthday is unknown. He came from the streets, so we have no idea. Hi, Bean. Hello, little man. Ender, how you doing? I know you're kidding. Don't worry. 2017, I started doing things like this, right? This is still pretty raw. Like, this was me getting back into Photoshop after a few years of like barely touching it. So it's me relearning the ropes a little bit, learning new things, because when I was doing things like these, I was not using Photoshop. Like I wasn't using 100% of Photoshop, of the tools and stuff. I was maybe using like 40% or less. So at some point you gotta like just dig in and start learning all the actual tools, and then like start climbing up that learning curve. So that was about 2017 when I started doing that. And I just did a lot of like surreal things or silly images, like, I don't know, shit like this. My signature is there already. I mean, my signature already existed since, I think, what was the first instance of my signature? I'm thinking. I think it was in drawings, actually, that I started doing that. So I might be able to find something. So I think the one I showed before, this one, that's 2013. No, this one just says Valdevia. There's definitely like an old drawing that I know has that signature. Okay, like this one? Is this one signed? Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. This is an early version of my signature. It had 2 lines. So I used to do it and as is reflected. So I already did the kind of the hiding the signature thing. So yeah, sometimes I did it with like 2 lines, and like, let's see. Oh, this one has like the early version of the signature, the duck. And I had the dates or the year in the corner there. So, it's kind of hard to see there. But yeah, it had the year in the corner there. So it had 2 lines around it. But, you know, eventually I just removed the year thing, just kept it to 1 line. But this is the early version of my signature. You're getting deep lore right there. We're reminiscing way back. I wasn't sure where to start, but that's as good a point as any. Also, Beancan. There he is. I should have worn a party hat. It's not my birthday. It's my art's birthday. I camped. So yeah, where were we? Back in 2017. So, you know, I did mostly surreal stuff like what you're seeing on screen, or I don't know. Let's see this one. Oh shit! I guess I should show them on the main screen because I'm just like putting them on the browser. And if I do them here, you can actually see.
Your early art was always some surreal shit enhancing reality and then bending it slightly. You found your niche and then leaned harder into the creepy shit.
That's true. So yeah, oh, this is one I like from 2017. The snail race. I think this one came out pretty good. Especially for that time. You know, I did a bunch of silly things. And it was just like weird ideas. Like, oh, a ship, but it's like in the desert, like dunes instead of in the sea. Why not? And that's late 2017 is when I started doing series as well. Let's see, what's my very first series? Oh yeah, one of them, I think this might be the first series, was like playing around with the concept of like speed. It was just like little ideas like this, but playing around with like the concept of speed. So, you know, you got like Formula 1 car stuck in traffic, or a bomber plane and it's dropping seeds and the seeds are like exploding into trees. So it's like taking something that's really slow and turning it really fast, or vice versa. That was sort of the general idea with that. But it wasn't like a very like organized series. It was just like, yeah, let me just make things around the topic. I guess the snails might have been part of that. I don't remember if the snails were part of that. But thinking back, probably they were, because they're right next to the other speed things. Another series I did back then, and this was probably my first like more organized series. It was called Futile, and it was like just people doing like very futile things, like this guy who's trying to like broom the entire desert into a pile, and this guy's trying to like keep water out of this tiny island that's slowly being encircled by the sea by just like throwing the water back into the sea. This guy is using a leaf blower in a tornado. And there was a fourth one. Oh yeah, this one. This firefighters trying to put out the sun. And, you know, it was planned as a 4-image thing. It was like, you know, it was a more like established little series. So I did a few of those. We were jumping back through like 2018 now. I had a big, oh yeah, I had a big, big space without art around this point. Fairly big hiatus. When I came back from that hiatus, I did this piece, which is the very first thing I ever streamed, 2019. So February 2019 was my first stream ever, or maybe like January, I think. I think it was technically like late January. So I've been streaming for a while. Back then, a single person was watching me, was watching that stream, and it was my partner. The Midwest USA. Siphon remembering the series names for these is really funny. So, yeah, this was early 2019. I still did a few series after that.
Actually, much of my have getting into bed.
I think the biggest series I did, and the one that was the most popular too, I did before like switching to horror. It was called Instrumental, and it was. Let me find the first one. Where's the first one? Oh, it was a bunch of images like these, of like just huge hands with tools, changing the environment in some way. So like cutting up these cliffs like cake, or vacuuming. And you can see the top of the mountain is being cut off. It's a little jank, but it works. Where are the other ones? Oh yeah, this one. This one, I stole some medical equipment. I didn't steal it. My partner had some like old medical equipment that I got to take photos for reference for this. Like someone mending a huge crack in a glacier. Or someone shaving an entire forest. And this one made the extremely deep cut cameo in the game Blood Bark. And I'm missing one. Hold on, I'm trying to find this. I think it was the first one I did for this. It was a giant paintbrush. Oh, here it is.
Mending a crack in a glacier to fix global warming.
Exactly. Glacier is your favorite one? Yeah, I did a few things with like environmental themes. I think one of the last few things I did actually had a pretty big like environmental theme. Like few things before like switching to horror. This was early 2020 actually. I did a series of pieces with like animals in how you call it, endangered animals in like, you know, like cityscapes and stuff, just to show like, you know, as people like, you know, we're destroying their habitats and stuff. So this was one. This one with the panda in the dumpster or in a dump. A big old tortoise who's being graffitied all over. And is that all of them? Oh yeah, just some tropical birds in a maze of cables. So that was, I think that might have been the last series I actually did. Yeah, that was the last series I did before switching to horror. And, you know, when I was doing this around this time and you know, after being done with that little series, I was sort of in a rut where just didn't know what else to do. And it was like the beginning of the confinement of like the lockdown, sorry, in 2020. So we're all stuck at home. It was a pretty bad time, not only for COVID, but like we had two dogs at home. No, we had 3 dogs at the time. The 2 older ones died 2 weeks apart from each other. And so that was pretty tragic. And like one of them was like really, really old, so we're kind of expecting it. The other one was like really unexpected. He got like weird parasite infection, and yeah. So that was around that time, like, you know, lots of shit going on in the world and in my personal life and stuff. So I was just not feeling it and not finding like a lot of inspiration for art. And that is when I decided to switch things up. This was in April 2020. Today, 5 years ago. That was when I posted it, but like, you know, for a few weeks before, I decided I'm gonna do a little experiments. So the idea, and this was like meant to be like, oh, it's just gonna be a one-off piece, just to try something different. Maybe it's gonna be a little series like the ones I was doing before. I hadn't like quite planned it out yet, but I decided I want to make something creepy, and I want it to be with old photos. So I want to like dig into some archive, find a cool photo, and edit that. That was the idea. That was an experiment, let's say. It was bad times, yeah. Early 2020 for everybody. Hey Charlie, welcome. Need to know the inspo for the Fractal series? Lots of things. The original piece for the Fractal series was based on a prompt for one of those like monthly prompt things. It was called Mandelbrot's Leak. So it was like a prompt with a fractal theme, and it was meant as a one-off thing. But then I decided to turn it into a series, and its inspiration for the series was, in a big part, was Junji Ito's Uzumaki, but on a more global scale. You remember, yes. But yeah, I decided I'm gonna do something creepy. And imagine there's nothing in here yet. I find these images of archaeologists in Sweden digging up some like old, I think it was like a Viking tomb, you know, a Viking era tomb. Kind of, you know, old school dig. Just some guys hanging around with their hats, digging up something. And I said, okay, these are good pictures. We got 2 pictures of the same moment too, which is better for telling a story. I just didn't know what to put in it. So I was just thinking about it. And I remember going to, I think it was Twitter. And somebody posted something weird they found in their garden. And it was like, what the fuck is this? And it was a picture of their hand holding this huge, I'm talking like this big, pupa. And it looked alien. And this is, you know, apart from the things I added to it randomly to make it creepier, which I don't do anymore for Megalomorph, but back then I didn't know what I was really gonna do with it. I was like, oh, an insect pupa looks really alien. That might be the perfect thing to put in this story, right? So exactly what I did. I took that. I took an insect pupa of the exact same species, a Cecropia moth, if I recall correctly, that person found in their backyard. It's a really big moth, and yeah, it was literally a coincidence. I saw a post of somebody talking about a big moth pupa that they found, and I decided, hey, that's creepy, and I went with it. That's why Megalomorpha is bugs. There was no other like thought behind it at the time. Charlie, thank you for the follow. Not a beetle, it was a moth. You can see the moth like wings. I mean, you know, I kind of like broke them up a little bit here, but you can see the antenna here, the little legs kind of bent in, and the wings. So you can sort of see the body plan for the moth in the pupa. Yeah, that was literally it. That was the inspiration behind Megalomorpha. I found a post online. I was like, oh, that was creepy. Later on, of course, I learned a bunch about bugs. So it was a really good coincidence to have. The second thing I did, and I did 3 Megalomorpha pieces in that single month. I was putting them out a lot faster because suddenly like, oh, this is actually really cool. This is fun, and you know, the world was evil. It still is in a lot of ways, but especially around the beginning of the pandemic, everything in the world was bad. So I guess I just channeled a lot of that into making horror. It's a catharsis, I guess. This was the second piece I made. Kind of a mistake lore-wise, because Megalomorphae are based on the Holometabola part of insects, like the branch of insects that does full metamorphosis, rather than the ones that do partial metamorphosis. And this is cicada molds, specifically the nymph molting into the full adult, so like the last molt of a cicada, which doesn't really match the 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 vibe of Megalomorpha with their the specific insects that Megalomorpha is based on. But I still really like these images, so I'm not gonna change it. I'll I'll allow that little inconsistency because I like these. We can just say instead of a molt, it was a dead one. And honestly, there's like matter in here. It's probably dead. So it's still explainable in lore, but it is something that if I knew now like if I had back then figured out all the lore, I wouldn't have used a cicada. I would have used something different. But you know, I still like the images, so it's fine. There's a third one I made, and it was the Antarctic exploration one. This one was a lot of fun. This was a, you know, an excuse to just go through thousands of photos of people exploring Antarctica. This was specifically from the Australasian, which is, you know, the Australian expedition. And they brought a Frank Hurley, a pretty well-known photographer, to take photos of this trip. There were actually two photographers, and these ones were taken by the second photographer, but a lot of beautiful photos from that trip were taken by Hurley. In any case, it's a treasure trove of images, really well-documented expedition, and I found these two of the exact same outcropping of ice, and I decided, that's perfect. I'm going to put something in that ice. So I put just a big old grub. This one's a beetle grub. Separate giant bug species convergent evolution. So yeah, I was still at that time sort of under the impression like this is going to be a series I do. Like Megamorph is going to be a thing I do. I'll go back to my usual stuff that I've been doing for years, right? But I didn't. I liked this too much. And then I started saying like, hey, I'm going to do other little horror things. The very first one I did, non-Megalomorpha, was a Siren Head fan art. Because, you know, it was like that moment Siren Head was really popular online. Oh, sorry, Bean, I startled him. And I really liked the design. I was like, yeah, I'm going to try to do my take on that with that old school veneer. But mostly at the beginning, I was still doing like Megalomorpha pretty much exclusively. And that's when I did these ones. That's when I did this one. These ones. And these two. These were all like throughout 2020. Like I pretty much did only Megalomorpha for a year. Like in 2020, just like the non-Megalomorpha stuff is, and hold on, I can just show you my gallery here. This is how I store my files. It's a single really large folder where I have everything set up in chronological order. So this is the oldest. You can go over here. It's not perfect chronological order. Like I know this one was made before this one. They're stored by month. So, you know, if it's like slight alphabetical differences, but they're stored by month. And you can see like at the very beginning, there's Siren Head here. There's like, oh, I did a little self-portraits. Like this. I did the running man, the guy who runs next to your car when you were a kid. That was just like a really quick edit. It was mostly Megalomorpha. Then there was Irremember, which is that daily art thing I mentioned, and that was where the first fractal thing was made. That was one of the prompt was Mandelbrot's leak, as you can see here. And that's when I made this one. I made these two photos in a day, out of stream, kind of just like in an evening. I just slapped them together. Because it was a daily art thing, so it's like, you know, you got to keep up the rhythm, right? I didn't do it every day, but I did like a few of them. And I was just trying to like keep up the rhythm. I was like, oh yeah, Mandelbrot's leak. And I did this. These were the originals. There's updated versions of them now, these two, which are look a little better. But yeah, you remember I did some pieces. Some of them that I still really like. Some of them were kind of eh. There was another fractal thing actually. This is not part of the fractal series. It was like fractal fossils. I don't remember the specific prompts, but I did fractal fossils for it, and I used the same program I used for the Mandelbrot Sleek one. So this is what the fractal series could have been, but never was. And back then, it was not a series. It was a one-off thing, as I mentioned. Yeah, there's a few others that you might have never seen because I've only posted it back then and then never really did it again. There's this one, which was like something about a God particle, and I did this like bubble chamber experiments thing. Not really visually that interesting. This one, I think the prompt was something with sculpture rotation, and I did this. You can kind of see a little bit red ferrer in that. This one with the angel sighting. This was the original. This was my very first biblically accurate attempt at an angel. I liked the concept. Later on, I went on to edit this one into a version that I like a lot more. This one, where it's like a lot more like faded out in the background. Just like put them side by side so you can compare. All right, oh, like this. Yeah, this is a new version on the right. I made the outer rings a lot more visible, and I sort of faded it in, and the results hopefully speaks for itself. But you know, I was doing these like daily, and I was like popping them out. It's yeah, it's Googly Eyes' cousin. They're not on speaking terms. Oh, there's this version here, which is just called meme.jpg, I guess. I've done this with Googly Eyes as well. A lot of my angels have had this. Fun fact: Googly Eyes in my streams were not a thing yet at this point. I don't remember when they start being a thing, but I just like put them as a point reward. That's where the Googly Eyes come from. This is another one I made for that prompt. The prompt was Edmund's paradox. I figured I'm gonna do like one of those paradoxes in real life. And it's like, oh, it's like a weird dolmen. Another one you might have seen is Canada floaters here, which I just took a picture of people skating in the ice and I just flipped them, put them in the sky. I don't think the googly eyes were related to angels. That was much later on. At first, it was just like a one-off joke. A little like silly stream thing. That usually happens. It can happen. Here's a long horse I made back in November 2020. But yeah, as you can see, oh, mycelium infection, that was another one that came from those prompts. So that's another classic from 2020. But yeah, as you can see, most of 2020 up to early 2021, it was all Megalomorpha. That's where I did like most of the parts of Megalomorpha by number were in 2020. The statues one, this was still one of my favorites. I love the statues. And the codex. That was a lot of fun. One of my first horror commissions, actually, maybe my first specifically horror themed commission. 2021, I did a bunch of these. It was for a book called Peculiar Children, and it was all about like kids with weird powers. And it's a TTRPG, so you know it was. These were like archetypes you could play. So invisible kid or frog kid, kid who can levitate things, fire kid, that sort of thing. So yeah, we're moving into 2021, and oh, this is when mock happened. So this was a silly little sketch that I did when I saw it was a Twitter account that posted like you know, silly cryptid things. Posted about this person on Reddit who claimed to have seen a creature on Google Street View in a like random mountain road in Canada, and posted about it saying like, hey, Canada mountain creature caught running behind Google car. So I decided that's really funny. I'm gonna make, I just like, you know, as you can see here, I just like sketched the shape I saw. This is a zoom in on the blob that this person claimed was a creature, right? I sort of like traced the shape over it and then did a couple little drawings of what I imagined, this little salamander thing. And then I asked people, hey, make your own interpretations. And I think like, I don't know, we got like 20 different drawings in a day. It was crazy. It became a little meme for a day. And yeah, I think I made a sticker with it. I made my own Google car picture of it a little later on. But yeah, that was a really fun little moment that we accidentally got started. You made alcohol? Oops. Accidentally? Uh-oh.
I like how the original was probably opossum or a dog with mange.
I don't think it was. I think it was straight up just a little like piece of dust.
Just a little boy.
Because here's the thing, Lilith. If you go back and forth on that same road, like, you know, the photos before and after, there's nothing. It's not like something that ran in and then ran out. It's like a pretty clear area. If this was a real animal, you would see it in the photo before or after, like running in or out. So I don't think it was even a dog or anything. I straight up think it was like a piece of dust that passed near the camera. You know, a person with a lot of time interpreted that. Why does a cat have a toothbrush? Grey alien. It's his favorite toy. It's a toothbrush. He loves dental hygiene. Yeah, it was actually just running lightning fast. How could I doubt that? Yeah, here is some of my first cryptid art. Here's Mothman in a story about a burning building where they cite Mothman, and this is in Sweden.
Cryptidast bunny. A sentient piece of dust that shows up in random pictures to look like different cryptids.
You say that, but there's an actual like Japanese yokai that is like a living piece, like a living dust bunny, and I literally got it here. Hold on. I got this in a gacha, and you can see like the other cryptids. You can see Nessie there. There's a Rod. There's an alien. There's... Hold on. I guess I should do this. There's Bigfoot right there. I'm trying to point towards them. Alien.
Japan never ceases to show the most incredible things.
Tsuchinoko right there. Yeah, Nessie I already pointed at. That's the blue one. That's the skyfish or the rod. And this is... Little... Look at it. Has a little smile. That's a dust bunny creature. Apparently, if you put one of them, or I think it might be a couple of them,
It is alive.
you put them in a box and you feed them like flour. You just put flour in the box and you close it. When you come back, they've multiplied a bunch of times. So it's straight up that creature from Star Trek. I forget the name. Or they'll just like multiply and multiply. Dribbles, thank you.
Triples.
Triples.
That is the trouble with triples.
It really is. Anyway. Where were we? Mothman, yeah. That was my first piece of cryptid art. And you know, it's still like keeping it pretty mysterious with that. I kind of went owl with the shape. Mothman is a misnomer. It's not actually a bug. It's always been described as a bird thing. The Mothman name was only like invented by journalists who were covering it and who wanted to give it like a fun name. But it was never a moth. I also did Loveland Frogman. I did the Wikipedia picture for the Loveland Frogman, which is so funny to me because this is this incredible Photoshop. And so I just remade it, kind of RTX on. And changed the size, because it's not actually that small. I don't think it is. So, what else do we have here? Here, I did a few commissions around that time. That was, those were my first personal commissions. Somebody asked me to do a cryptid or legend from their area, and I figure I found the Dark Watchers, or I knew about the Dark Watchers, so I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Frogman. You're a frog in a man. I said, Frogman. Webbed fingers on your hand.
Webbed fingers. And this is, as you can see, April 2021. So quite a few months after the first one, which is November 2020, I did the second part of the Fractal series. So that's when I decided I'm going to turn this one little like one-off story that I liked, I'm going to turn it into like a series with like global stakes. So that's when we get Hurricane Julia, taking this little one-off event into global proportions. Immediately after I did the next part, which is with the flowers and stuff, I was still like, I still hadn't figured out like the end point for it. I knew it was going to be an apocalyptic story, but still hadn't like fully written it. I was just kind of figuring out as I went along. And around that time as well, 2021, is when I made my first piece of folklore creature art. And this is really close to home. It is La Huestia, called La Santa Compaña in most of the places of Spain, is a ghostly procession. They usually carry bones instead of torches, like the bones are set alight. And they will go, like before a person dies, they will go to their house and circle around it a few times every night until the seventh night the person finally dies. And this time they come in with a coffin and they take their soul, put it into the coffin. If you actually see them, they're invisible to most people, but if you see them, that means you're the next one who's gonna die after that. And there are stories where you can suddenly wake up and you find yourself walking with your torch or a cross, and you're leading this procession. So, this is a PSA. If you ever find yourself walking in the front of La Huestia or La Santa Compaña, never look back and keep walking. If you look back, they take you. They take your soul. So, bad idea. But if you keep walking, you'll keep walking until you die. So what you need to do is find the rube and give them the cross. It's usually a cross. You know, I went a little bit more pagan with mine. I didn't go as Christian. Because I know the story is older than Christianity. This is a really old myth spread throughout Europe in different versions. There's just one version of that. So I went a bit more pagan, but...
Where would they take me?
They would take you around in circles until you died of exhaustion.
It reminds me of the story of Orpheus.
Kinda, yeah. What if you fight them? You lose. If you fight them, you gotta look back. If you turn back, they get your soul. Really simple rules. Follow them. Here's one for all the people who comment, like, every time there's a horror thing, they're like, if I found them, I would attack them with my shotgun. Don't do that with folklore creatures. Folklore creatures have rules. You gotta follow the rules. Otherwise, you're probably gonna end up with your soul stuck somewhere for eternity. Bad idea. Follow the folklore creature rules. And if you find yourself in the front of a Santa Compaña, you gotta hand someone else the cross and tell them, start walking now, and then run. There's a bunch of other stories around La Huestia, but that's my favorite one, finding the rube. Elaine falls down on the pavement. Take me now. If you stop, they take you. You gotta keep walking. So if you lie down, they take your soul. If you start kicking backwards, they're ghosts. You can't kick them. No. Don't try to outsmart the folklore creatures. You can only follow their rules. You don't outsmart spirits by doing something that kills you, exactly.
So there's no way to actually not get killed other than putting someone else in your place. It's like fairies.
In a way, yeah. So anyway, yeah, at this point, as you can see, I was like branching out, trying out a bunch of different things, dipping into cryptids, folklore, still like starting the Fractal series proper. Still a little bit of Megalomorpha. This one was drawings. I really enjoyed making these little drawings. And it's the only piece of Megalomorpha, the only story of Megalomorpha that ties into the rest. Because it's this one guy who's been investigating them all his life. And that's like, he's sort of the reason that we got all this evidence up to the present. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it he found, right? Like all the older stuff, or most of the older stuff, he was the one to kind of gather it.
It's okay, I probably have strong shamanistic powers from my Korean side of the family. I would have to do a dance while wearing a flower hat, but I think I could get them to leave me alone.
Good luck. Good luck. You got this, Lilith. And like, I'll fight this folklore creature with more folklore. I'll confuse them. It's a good idea. Oh. Let me get the browser clean. So many images there. Yeah, so this was the only part of Megalomorpha that sort of ties into the rest. And it's the one that gives us the name Megalomorpha. There's the guy who coins it. Only recurring character. How folklore from different countries interact with each other. That would be fun. So yeah, I was doing some commissions here and there, like this album cover, which was actually my second ever angel. And it was again a World War I angel. Specifically, it's based on a folklore story called the Angels of Mons, M-O-N-S. It's a little folklore-ish story where in a battle between the Germans and the Brits, the Brits retreated, had like a successful retreats, and people started telling stories like back home that some angels had showed up and essentially like created a barrier, stopped the Germans, and let the Brits retreat, and turned into this little folklore story. So I made that, but in a more abstract way, where it's like a literal wall of wings. And the Fresno Nightcrawlers are here. I love this piece. I think it's still one of the cutest ones I've done. Here's one for Sora. Is La Cosa Esa, that thing. Yeah, links on Twitch can get wonky. It's very annoying. Anytime Jesus and Buddha hang out together. Here's the mermaids as well. The Dead Mermaid. This piece right here landed me an interview on local radio. In case you don't know this piece of lore. I posted this, and when thinking of the story, actually the original image was a beached whale that landed on a little town called River John in Nova Scotia, so in Canada. And when I did the mermaid, I sort of kept that. I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. Like, I'll just like keep this like real part of the story and the location and stuff, and the year, and just put a mermaid instead. So that's what I did. And it went like viral enough that somebody in Nova Scotia saw it and sent it to a local radio host at CBC Nova Scotia. So CBC, like BBC for Canada, in Nova Scotia, who then contacted me, and we had a call that showed up on the radio, talking about the image and the kind of stuff I make, and why I chose this little town. And next day, after the interview goes live on the radio, the interview was pre-taped. They just like cut it together for the radio program. I wasn't doing it live, thankfully. I would have been a lot more scared if that was live. But yeah, next day after this interview goes live, I get an email from a lady in River John, Nova Scotia, in that little town, saying, "Oh, I heard you on the radio. I had to look you up because that sounded very interesting. I love the piece you've done. It's really, what a coincidence, because I'm a mermaid too. Like, I am a mermaid. Like, okay, like very matter-of-factly said." And then she kept going like, "Oh, I got a print of it because I really love it." And it was just such a nicely written email by some lady that just contained the completely out-of-pocket sentence, "I am a mermaid," And it's still one of the funniest and strangest pieces of mail I have received. Shout outs to that lady though; she was super nice, and she got a print of the mermaid. So thanks for the support. Yeah, it was a nice little story for the mermaid. This also got me in Snopes. I had my work show up in Snopes, the classic like um, debunking website, a couple times. This was one of them, and ended up getting into an interview with Snopes where I I explained to one of Snopes like editors the kind of art I do and how I do it, and they were super nice. It was a very nice experience as well. 3 times. I appeared twice in Snopes like articles and like debunking articles. Um, the third thing on Snopes is the interview. Kazi, thank you so much for the donation on coffee. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the support. Today and in general, and economically and just like regular support, and for the people who've shared my work, who've shown it to friends. That's always like super appreciated. Thank you, Kazi. Oh yeah, back then in 21, I also did. Oh, this is the full version. There we go. I did some SCP pieces. These were the first things I did for SCP. They were hosting a contest to choose the article number 6,000, and I got 3 commissions, I believe. Actually, 4 commissions. Yeah, and both the winner, which was this one, and the runner-up, which was this one, they both had images I did. So this ended up being 6,000. I think this one, I think, is 6,666. and the other 2, I don't recall the exact numbers. I'm really bad at remembering those. But yeah, it was really funny that I got like 4 commissions for the exact same contest. So I wasn't doing the writing or anything, so it's not like the contest was judging my own images, but I had my finger on like every pie, so I was like a lot more likely to win. Thanks, Bill. How hard? Yeah, people thirsted after the Snake Lady. There is NSFW fan art of this, which is, I think, is the only piece of art I've ever done to get NSFW fan art. Not that I seek that out, but coincidentally, it's a snake lady, so obviously somebody is gonna be into there. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, but I was still doing Megalomorph. This is the cave one with the first hints of like fusion of humans and Megalomorph. So I was like figuring out the lore, the lore that we currently have. I was figuring that out at the time. Yeah, then 2021 as well, we did the Order of the New Moon series, which kind of started the little like lycanthrope project. Still needs a new home. I'll get to that eventually. It's a whole like parallel history where werewolves are real, and it is like sort of thing passed down through bloodlines, and it's kind of like taking the typical role of the vampire as the aristocratic monster and changing that with the werewolf. So you get like aristocratic werewolves who are like super Catholic and form like a weird like secret society where, you know, they worship like a weird like twisted version of Christianity. Here's baby werewolf Jesus. They believe their holy mission is to like cull the human population, just like the same way that wolves cull the like population of herbivores and sheep and stuff. So they see humans as sheep, see themselves as like, you know, the ones to cull them. And yeah, we did a bunch of fun like Christian imagery stuff with werewolves, and this was a collaboration with David Romero, who's such an incredible artist. I love what he does so much. Later on, a lot of other people joined and took part in the collaboration, so it became a much larger project. But initially, it was just us two. Oh, goodbye, Wen. Have a good sleep. The Buckman SCP artist, fractal creator, father being, researcher of mycelial infection, epithets, all the epithets. Oh, hope you don't lose power, sorry. Hey Mactel, how are you doing? We are reminiscing. Looking back through 5 years of art. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah, later on in this like lycanthrope project. Oh, wait. Oh, this link's broken. Well, I'll show it as it comes up. There's several parts of the series. Oh, here's one. Here's this one about silver, where we imagined silver as not something like that kills werewolves, but something that actually like triggers their transformation. So they actually like, they love silver, but it becomes like sort of an addictive substance to them. Because if you wanna, if you're like the most pure blood werewolf in this world, you can pretty much transform into the wolf at any point. If you're like, you know, just a little bit werewolf, you can only transform in the full moon. That's why it's called the Order of the New Moon, because they're the purest werewolves. They can transform in the new moon. But silver kind of hijacks this. If you take silver, or if you like, I don't know, maybe stab yourself with a silver sword, or if you get silver into your blood in some way, you instantly transform into a werewolf. And people start doing this, like noblemen start doing this to appear like they're pure werewolves than they actually are. So they become addicted to silver. You get like fun things like this little ad for silver colloid that you can drink. I didn't model this myself. The base model is by my friend Saint, who also collaborated on this. And yeah, let's go back to the first part of the Werewolf series. Where are we? Here. Oh, here's where I did the family ghost. And this was a little thread where in first person I explained how there's this strange ghost who's been like hunting our family. I just started noticing like weird things in my childhood photos. Like, where's this hand coming from? Like, can't be anyone's. That's strange, right? What's this weird thing in the pool? Oh, if I invert it.
So I'm going to be off for the night.
Okay, Hammy, have a great night.
Whatever you are.
Have a good night, Hammy. Sleep well. So yeah, when you invert this photo, oh, it looks like a face. That's kind of creepy. Oh, look at this photo of me and my siblings when we were kids. What's this shadow? Like it's a photo taken with a flash. So whatever the subject is has to be like in front of the camera, but it's just a clear shadow there. That's strange. And at first it's just that, but then I asked my mom and she's like, "Oh, I remember some similar photos from when I was a kid." So my mom shows me pictures, and this is my mom here. My real mom. They allow me to use this for these photos, don't worry. And there's this strange figure next to her, or this one sitting on a chair here, reaching out. There's my grandpa. And it's like, oh, that's creepy. So I kind of like, have we been like inheriting this ghost? What's been going on? So I asked my grandma, please send me old pictures of my grandpa when he was a kid. And I start noticing weird things there too. What's this reflection on the window? Kind of looks very similar to the one on the pool. What's this hand that's in this portrait of my grandpa when he was a kid? So I'm starting to get a little creeped out. Like, what's this strange ghost that's been following our family around for generations? So I managed to go like one step further and find the origin of the ghost. Because I find photos of my great grandpa. These are real, by the way. That's my great grandpa right here in World War One. I'm like, oh, I'm finding some photos of my great grandpa in World War One. Here's a photo he took after, and there is somebody here who only the upper body shows up, and he has some kind of wound, and he also shows up healthy in this earlier picture from the beginning of the war. So we figured this was a friend or a squad mates of my great grandpa's who died in the war and got stuck to him, and then through the generations has been essentially following the family and getting stuck to a new person. Like when my great grandpa dies, he gets stuck to my grandpa, and later on to my mom. So I say, oh shit, it must have gotten stuck to like one of us. Like, we're 3 siblings. Which one did he choose? So keep looking through childhood photos and finally find this one. It looks kind of normal, but when you brighten it, there he is. He was stuck to me. That was a little thread. I enjoyed that. That was fun. I got to use some actual old family photos for that. I had a photo that looked like there was a ghost. It's actually a double exposed photo. That's a classic, yeah. Yeah, that's baby me. You get some extra Val lore this stream by getting actual old photos of me. That's me. That's me.
El Beibal.
So yeah, that was a fun little thread. And then I kept going with the fractals, which is a really nice tie-in, because the last piece I made before this stream, just yesterday, was the continuation to this, which I'm going to show you. In case you missed last stream, here it is. It's the same person years later. For the next part of the fractal series, we're going to be like taking people we've seen throughout the series and seeing how their cases have progressed, and seeing, you know, how bad things have gotten in the body horror side. So that's one of the three pictures, and probably the least gnarly one. So I'm really happy with how that part of the series is gonna look. Flossing must be fun. Oh yeah, forget about flossing. Yeah, what else? Is this more werewolf stuff? This little painting. Yeah, we went kind of to the origin of the werewolves in like a specific trait of the werewolves in this world, in this werewolf story. They have like, some of them have this like really like long mouth, and yeah, this little story kind of follows that. What else do we have here? Some more Trevor Henderson fan arts. The Sisters of the Ever Sharpening Blade. Really like those. Below this is just knives. What else do we have? The Weeping Raven. That was fun. That was a concept we did on the Patreon, and this is a great time to plug the Patreon. Every so often on the Patreon, we'll do little like I call them design events. It's a little like, through a series of votes and open questions, we design something together, a creature, a disease sometimes, and then I have to make whatever comes out of that. So the very first one was this, the Weeping Raven, this weird, strange little minor deity. And I made a few pieces with the raven. I like this one, and one of it flying. So not as much horror with that one, but I like the concept. Thank you for the Patreon link, Sora. Yeah, if you want to be on the next one of these, you can be on the Patreon at any level, and you will have access to these little design events whenever they happen, which is usually just whenever I got spare time. Here's the Slenderman comic I did. You might be surprised to see it in 2021, because I posted it way more recently. The reason is that this was originally, it was going to be for a friend's zine, and I wanted, like, this was going to be a full page on the zine, and I figured, I'm going to experiment with like a little like found footage comic. Eventually the zine didn't happen, so I just had this lying around. I eventually posted it on its own. Patreon is a good time. Thank you. We have fun on there. Yeah, we're reaching the end of 2021. Here's when I did the silver pieces here that I showed you. And we got November 2021. I did Eerie-vember again, just like the year before. And this time I did 26 pieces. So I did a piece nearly every day. I think I might have done more that don't show up here because they were part of the series, but I think in terms of like individual images, there's more than 30 that I did in a month. That was exhausting. I don't know how I did that, honestly. I was streaming every day, all of these. I don't know where that stamina went, because I can't stream for that long anymore. Not that long, but like that many days in a row. It's really, I don't know. It caught me at a perfect moment. And I guess like following up on my personal life at this point, I was still studying medicine at this point. I finished my med school studies like proper, 6 years of med school. I finished that in 2020, right around the time of the pandemic. Like that was my last year. because I remember like when the lockdowns happened, it was it actually cut down a few of uh, the rotations that I had. I was God, that was another thing that was hard for my mental state at that point. By the way, the rotation I was doing right when we were locked down, so I didn't do the full thing. It was in pediatrics in the cancer wing, so it was like it was like seeing children with cancer every day. It was so hard. I don't know how people can do that like every day for a job. You must have like the mental fortitude of, I don't know, 10 people. It's incredible what those doctors do and how they can like keep a smile. Because it was honestly hard to just be there for a week, and I think I had like another week, and that was like right when the lockdowns happened. Yeah, I remember that. So yeah, the back in 2020, while I was doing these, while I was like starting to do horror, I was like finishing my med school studies. But during 2021, I was actually studying for a really big exam that would happen like the next year for the medical, like the residency. So the way it works is there's a big national exam that everybody like out of med school does. You don't have to be like right out of med school, but you can do it several times in a row. You can do it later in life, but you know, for this exam, you need to have finished your med school studies, and based on your placement, like if you're the first one in Spain, you get your pick, like any hospital, any residency that you like. You can say, I want to do plastic surgery in the best hospital in Spain, right? Then the second one in the exam gets a pick, and so on. So I was studying for that exam. It's really hard. It's really, really competitive. And studying for that exam is like 1 year for like really intensive studies. And I was burnt out from medicine in general, and specifically from that like really hard time of studying. It was like exhausting, honestly. And like I was using art honestly as an escape. Like I wasn't making a living like at all. Like you can see little commissions here and there, but that was not enough to make a living. And I was sort of like using art as my escape from this like really big burnout. So I think that is where the stamina came in, because I was supposed to do something else. Instead, I spent an entire month. I was still studying during the day, right? But you know, I definitely lost hours of study to this because I was escaping from it essentially. So I think that's where the stamina came in. I had like a weird sort of pressure on myself, and around this time, like my art was also doing really well, and held a little hope in my heart that maybe I can do this for a living instead of medicine. Like this was a big time of like change for me, where I was like still not making a living, but I could see that this might happen like in the horizon. I think that like that was when I opened the Patreon, as you can see from the Weeping Raven here had opened the Patreon a few months before, and I was, you know, like trying to make the calculations, like still living at my parents and stuff, so no like huge economic pressure, but I was saying like, can I actually make a living? And that's where the stamina for this comes in. I both kind of wanted to prove something to myself, also like escape from the burnouts from med school and this huge like really intensive year of study. And yeah, I guess that's how I could stream for an entire month. And the sleep disorder, did it keep punching me? Absolutely. Sleep disorder was has always been a factor since I was a teenager. And it's one of the reasons I do art, honestly, is because I've always been like up at night. I am up at night right now, 4:51 a.m. I've always been up at nights, kind of just like doing stuff like, I don't know, watching shows, playing video games, but it's always been like a chill time for myself, and that's the time I've always done art, and that kind of led naturally into, you know, I get all this night time just for myself where I can practice art, and I guess that feeds into like me actually like getting enough practice and that I get good at it and I can do it for a living. So I don't think I could be an artist without my sleep disorder. Ironically, like you gotta hate it sometimes, but you gotta love it for what it's given me in a way. Check out grid parasites. Found footage about gigantic algae parasite that feed off electricity. Interesting. But yeah, I really churned out art for an entire month. And medicine? Did I say medicine? If I don't know how to pronounce anything, you're the one who's wrong. English has no pronunciation rules. I can say whatever I want. So yeah, during Erie-vember here 2021, I made some iconic pieces, honestly. Like the fact that I was just putting these out every day, I don't know, something clicked in my brain. I was making banger after banger, honestly. Crabman came out of that month. The Homunculi came out of that month. I know it's not my most popular, but I still love this one. Terry came out of this month, obviously, and again, just like the fractal, was just meant as a one-off, as a fun little thing. Later on, turned into a series. Then, you know, it was not all bangers. There are some mid ones out there. I got the Bog Body. There's an updated version. The original looked like this. I still like this one. Didn't do great, but it's there. We got Tombstone Teeth. That's a pretty well-known one. What else do we have? See, we have stuff that I've never like really looked at since then. So, you know, when you're putting up art every day for an entire month, like honestly, the fact that so many of these are bangers is a miracle. We got Calcium Hyper Proficiency, which was one of, like, we had some of my first medical horror coming in from this challenge here. And the name of the disease is the name of the prompt, straight up. This one was a lot of fun. I posted this saying, in the story for it was the Eye of Siracusa, where this regular picture is strange because some people claim they can see an eye, but that's kind of crazy, right? Nobody sees the eye, and and when I posted this, I told everybody on the Discord, hey, I'm gonna post this. Pretend you can't see the eye. I actually gave people an empty version of it too. Pretend you can't see the eye and point at like random incorrect things like, oh, is this the eye? To confuse people, to make people think that they're the only ones seeing the eye. So it was a great little prank. And then as people saw that the folks on the Discord are sort of like joining in on the joke, more people join in on the joke, and it just turned into this really funny thing where like a lot of people were following with a joke, and some people were just coming into the thread and just being really confused at what was going on. I should repeat this on Blue Sky at some point, because that has only lived, like the specific little moment has only lived on Twitter. The good times of Twitter, how I miss them. What eye exactly? I'm really glad you like it, Bill. Do people have ice? Yeah, that's the only one. Yeah, like maybe in the basket here. I'm not sure. I think it's just an urban legend. I don't think there's an eye. What's the only thing you added to vignettes? There were several things. This basket I added. I miss old Twitter so much. Me too. It was good times. Chorb. Chorb came out of this. We love Chorb in this house. We love Chorb. So yeah, as you can see, there was a mix of bangers and mid ones, but honestly, the fact that so many bangers came out of this, got that baby. That's a cute one. The fact that we got so many bangers is pretty impressive. I don't know. I harnessed some kind of weird energy there. The Mimic City was fun. People getting lost in a fake city where nobody has a face. Buildings have no windows. What else do we have? Black Hole Winter. That was the name of the prompts. But I actually just like, this was in, I just kind of made this in a stream and I was like, no, I'm not happy with it. It's not good. Like, I don't see the horror here. It's the image is alright. It's the black hole, but I can't really pull out a horror story of this. So I just left it in this folder for like a year. And then suddenly, like one day, I think I was like looking for stuff to repost because I hadn't posted something in a while. I was like, oh, this little black hole. What if I just posted it with like a silly caption instead? And people loved it with the silly caption. So that's how it exists now. I got Warm Off the String. Another classic. Another classic. I don't know. I harnessed something. Obviously, the prompts were good. But I definitely had some weird energy, like this med school burnout energy that I was just putting into this, making an entire month like this. I might do this again someday, like just make my own prompts list and try to do an entire month. But I guess nowadays, you know, most of what I make my living on is the commercial commissions I gotta do. So it would have to be like a month where I know I'm not gonna have a lot going on, and I can say like I'm gonna do art every day for this amount of time. Maybe I can only do a couple weeks or something, but I want to reharness that energy because that was pretty exhausting, but a lot of fun. And I don't want that energy to come out of burnouts. It has to be genuine. Some of these look familiar enough that I think I was there in the stream, but I also can't imagine being in this community that long. I don't know, maybe you just saw them online and you were hallucinating the streams. Who knows? You joined in September 2022. No, because this is 2021. Sorry, we're in November 2021. So yeah, we're doing more fractals. This one with the hopscotch and the fractal brain, which I remember got like blocked by Twitter. I don't know why. I think it was, and this was pre-Musk Twitter. Like this was, I think maybe because it talks about like diseases and stuff, and it probably got stuck in some kind of like COVID misinformation filter or something, and it just like if you tried to like quote tweet it, it didn't show up. It had like some really weird things. I don't know. That's one of the things I remember about this part of the Fractal series. What else do we have around here? We got this. No, I know. Who is it? Bill has been asking about this. It has no story. Like it's just a one-off piece. It was for a stream where we had Trevor on, and we said like, oh, let's make something with the same picture. Like we both get the same picture, and we gotta like make something creepy with it. And we got like, we used this picture of this abandoned mall, and Trevor did this weird cocoon thing, and I did this, and we both showed it off on the stream. I love the meatiness that Trevor can do. He's so good. Yeah, around this time, late 2021, I think up to mid 2022, I did a few like series of streams where I just did like a little interview of other horror artists or other like internet personalities. The little quote unquote podcast called House of Horrors. And I don't know, I might bring it back. I got all the graphic design done for it. I got a theme song and everything. I should give that some use. You came in on Generate? Yeah. Yeah, I think that was around when Jenna started streaming. Y'all were very patient with me as I adjusted to the etiquette on Twitch and generally had massive depression. Oh no. Oh, you're doing better these days. Oh, thank you, Maxwell. You talked about the raw chicken of a cat you use for skin textures. Oh my god, the deep cut, I love it. Yeah, Bingus. Let me show everyone Bingus. This is one of the pictures I've used the most across my art. It sounds silly, right? But when you need a wrinkly creature, using wrinkly cats is the best. I haven't used it that much these days. I got other wrinkly cats that I've substituted it with. This is a pretty good wrinkly cat that has some more definition. Like the image quality is better. But I used Bingus for years, honestly, and I still from time to time use it. Like these specific folds here are really useful, and these ones here. Yeah, Bingus, true hero of my arts. Shoutouts to Bingus. Bingus was our cat before Bean. Before Bean came into our life. Hi, Bean. Oh, little man. So glad to hear, Maxwell. We need photos of Morty for this. I got some. Honestly, I should put some Morty photos in my resources folder. So, okay, where are we? We are in late 2021, and this is my first speculative biology thing before it even was like a series or a recurrent thing I did. So, you know, this was the first one. The second one would come in like quite a while later. I know I do a lot of it these days, but believe it or not, that was one of the latest additions to my like arsenal of horrors. You know, we got medical horror, we got like black and white pictures, and like this sort of vintage antique horror. And the speculative bio stuff was a latecomer to the party. But this was the first one. The baby, and it has audio, which is still one of the few audio things I've done. Hold on, you can hear it here. So it's basically the same way I do pictures. I just took a bunch of free audio from, what was the site? freesound.org, I think it is. And I remixed it the same way I do photos. I just put them in Audacity and slapped them together. So it is like some like rainforest ambience, a baby crying, and a rattlesnake. Combine these together, boom, you got the little tail viper. This was also, oh no, actually I forgot. This was my second December 2021, the second Santa one. The first one was December 2020. So I've been doing this since like every year since I've been doing horror art. My creepy Santas. Then, oh, this was another Patreon created cryptid. It's a creature. It's a little shrew thing called the Collectors that just like dive into dumpsters and thrive off of human trash. So they will adorn themselves in the trash, and they look like little walking piles of garbage. What else did we do around this time? Oh yeah, we got the ancient lichens. This was the part of the lycanthrope project where we explore the very, very old prehistoric roots of lycanthropes. We got the Venus lichen and a lot of cave paintings, and it's all like an exploration of a single cave that they found. That was, you know, the cave was occupied by a new hominid species, a newly discovered hominid species, which were the lycanthropes, right? Like there were different hominid species that interbred with humans, with like Homo sapiens, in the same way that Neanderthals did, and that's why like some people have a lot of people have Neanderthal genes. Most people in Europe have like a percentage of Neanderthal genes. That's where the lycanthropes come from. And at the end of this cave, they find this pit that's full of human bones. So they've been just eating humans and throwing the bones in the pits. That's when I also started making like more complex parts of Megalomorph. I actually skipped over this one, the Fisherman. That was back in October 2021, and you know, we got this old diary, and this fisherman who finds a pupa and starts going insane and thinking of it as its own child, eventually fuses with it and disappears. Then early 22, I did the Parish, which is this little story with this cult in Norway.
Throw them in the VONPIT.
VONPIT. I love how when you do fonts like that, it spells them out. Kind of like lycanthropes. I love that the spelling with lichen. The lycanthropes, the first part of it, the order of the new moon, can be found on the website. The whole series is going to get its own home. It's going to show up. It's going to be on a different website. I just haven't gotten around to like setting that up. But I got a domain and stuff. I got a few things ready for that. Yeah, so this is one of my favorite parts of Mangalore still. It is the church where they worship one of them. We start getting hints of the like human and megalomorphic crossbreeds. We got this is the very early days of AI. This is before like the big image generators. I collaborated with this guy who made his own AI program. It wasn't stealing images from all over the internet. I think the entire training set was just like Creative Commons and public domain images. It was like how it should have been, right, before all the big ones came into play. And you could actually like train it on your own images. So I asked this guy, I sent him a bunch of my images, all the black and white ones, and say like, hey, put these into the machine, see what it spits out. You couldn't even do prompts back then. You just threw images into the machine and let it like spit things out. So it was like complete madness, complete randomness. But you know, it kind of got the vibe of old photos from the training, from like seeing my images, and it spit out weird things. And you know, I remixed them into photos. Like I put this weird meaty thing into daguerreotype, make it like a portrait, or this kid, this like child looking thing, I put it in a house or in like a burned photo. So yeah, good old days before all the bad stuff. Don't really know how to spell their name. It's Lycan, Lycan. Goblins. I love these goblins. The concept was flightless bats. And this, early 2022, is when Googliel was born. Hi, Googliel. Finally, you're here. This was another little audio thing I did. Here's where we also get the Hatman. Very silly edits that I did in like about 10 minutes. But sometimes it's those who were some of the best. That was, little edits I did for Mock's anniversary. So this was in 1 year. We've jumped 1 year after the creation of Mock. And Mock is, I remind you, the mountain creature called running after Google car. And I did a few images of it. Later, I saw people on TikTok, you know, like podcast bros, you know, the type. Yeah, it was like 2 podcast bros saying like, dude, did you see they found this creature running behind a Google car? No way, dude. Yeah, it's true. Look at these images. And they put out these. Which were on my website. Like if you look up mountain creature caught running behind Google car, my website will be on one of the first results. So they got these from my website, which is clearly, it's art. Like it explains the real story and how like this art I made of it. Like literally in the text. It's not only context. It's literally marked in the text. And these people just saw the images and went, whoa, dude, it's real. Look at these images. It's great. I love podcast bros. Hi, Pugsby. You're looking at Mock. So, here's another bit of the Lycanthrope series where we talk about Saint Christopher, which is a saint in Catholic lore that picked up Jesus and carried him over a river. It's like the saint of travelers and stuff. So I did this as and we made like a lichen version of it. And I made this in collaboration with Abs Harding, which is an incredible artist. And I made this medallion. Also, like, took her drawings and made them look a little bit more like, put the old paper textures and stuff. But she did most of the work. Maybe they just got them off Google Images. That's likely, yeah. I don't think they did a lot of research. I don't think they did the bare minimum. Here's my dead alien, and this one was a bit of a flop, and I'm angry at that. I like this. It's so X-Files. I wanted to have something a little X-Files like that, but they didn't understand. It's okay. It still lives in my heart. We also did Jenny Hanover. Technically, I guess a little piece of speculative biology, but not really at the time. Like I was doing it for the folklore elements of the actual Jenny Hanovers. In case you don't know, they're like dead, like desiccated rays that fishermen would pick up and carve into them to make them look a little bit like humanoid shape, like little devils or little bishops with their hats. And they would sell them to travelers, saying like, oh, look at this weird fish that I caught. And they became these like curiosities, kind of little origin of mermaids in a way. And yeah, probably not the origin of mermaids, but it kind of got tied into mermaid lore. So I made a live-in version of one. This is a brochure I made for the Mystery Flesh Pit. This was when I had Trevor Roberts, who's the creator of Mystery Flesh Pits, on the stream for this little podcast thing, and we each made a piece like inspired by each other's like series. So I made a Mystery Flesh Pit brochure. He made a Megalomorpha killing cars, which is really funny. Mobile attraction apparatus. I love that one. And the big swatter, precision hydraulic swatting. It's great stuff. Oh yeah, around this time, so we're in early 2022 right now, we got the redesigns for SCP-173 Classic, like the first SCP. It had this classic image, which was a statue someone had made. Originally, it was like posted to 4chan with a creepy story. That's how SCP was born, if you didn't know. And eventually, it turned into this wiki and stuff. And that image had copyright issues. Nobody checked to clear the copyright before making a silly story about it, and it turned into something much bigger. So eventually they decided, by request of the author of that original article, and due to those copyright troubles, they decided to get rid of the image. So now if you go to the article for SCP-173, the image is not there anymore. So around when this happened, they suggested that artists could do like their own interpretations, and they would put them in a gallery. So I did one. A bunch of other artists did their interpretations of 173, and yeah, that's how mine came out. When we were looking up the legal disclaimers of amusement parks. Oh yeah, for the brochure. Yeah, I had fun making the legal disclaimers. Legal disclaimer. Mystery Flesh Pit National Park disclaims liability for any incidental or consequential damages or losses suffered by any persons as a result of entering the facility. Each guest accepts the inherent and other risks associated with the use or participation in or on any amusement attraction, including but not limited to loss of property, superficial injury, burns, enzyme damage, existential despair, pruritus, protein clump anaphylaxis, death, etc. Legalese is awful, but yeah, I based this off of a real like legal liability disclaimer. Here's some more folklore. This is El Coco from Spanish folklore, and also like extended throughout all of Latin America in different versions. There is El Cucuy in Mexico. There's La Cuca in Dominican Republic. There's a few other versions with like slightly different spellings, but it's this figure that scares children. Like it eats children who don't go to bed. And it is the origin for the coconuts. The word coconuts, in Spanish just coco, was created by some sailors. I think they were like either Spanish or Portuguese or some combination thereof. And they were sailing and they saw some coconuts. And when they saw the three little holes, one of them must have joked, "Ah, el coco," like look at this little monster. And it stuck, and they started calling these fruits cocos, and for some reason that became the official name for the coconut all over the world. It's the only fruit that I know of that's named after a monster. So obviously when I did the monster, I had to give it like three little, I actually used a coconut here. It has two little eyes and a mouth in the same way that coconuts do. So yeah, that's a fun fact that you can bring at parties. Coconuts are the only fruit that's named after a monster. And if it isn't the only one, I'd love to hear the story for the others. Yeah, I did a lot of folklore around this time. This is in April 2022. I did this one at Pesadilla, which I still love very much. I think it's one of my favorite folklore pieces. Les Lavanderes, the washerwomen who will wash clothes and drown you. I did Ola Pesanta, another one who stands on your way to sleep. Oh, the were-possum. This was a personal commission. And I love it very much. I love this little guy. Keep rocking, little guy. Keep rocking, Jethro. First book cover, which, this was the time. This is the errors I'm intending to fix. I mean, this book cover is behind me. I still like how it came out, but the problem is this was around the time that the first AI image generators were coming out, and we didn't know how the sausage was made. So at the time I was like, oh, that's pretty nice, I can generate textures. And I used it for textures a couple times. So I used it for this book cover, which I redid recently. This is a new one. I redid it with fully clean textures. So it's like from the ground up. I intended it to look pretty similar to the old one. It's going to go out in a new edition of the book. So it's going to be in print as well. So I kind of cleared my conscience a little bit with this one because I felt really bad about having used AI textures for that. So there is now a clean version, and when it goes in print, I'll get one as well. I'll change the one in the back. And oh, being good stretch. Ooh, good stretch. You're okay. You're falling out of the bed. Oh, is that? Are you comfy there? Okay, no, just a short stretch, I guess. Also, I should point out I'm wearing the Megalomorpha shirt because I thought it was fitting because we started with Megalomorpha, and if you go here in the corner, that's Pupa from the first Megalomorpha story. The image doesn't count as public domain. Not really. Like the public domain thing only applies to images that were entirely made by AI. If you took an image and like if you take an AI image and like remix it with other stuff, you can still add copyright to it. The same way that I can take public domain images and remix them with other stuff, and I can claim copyright over that because there's been a transformative thing. Yeah, the copyright thing with like AI images being by default public domain only applies to like purely AI made things. And I guess if there's like, there's probably a sliding scale of how much human intervention you need before it like starts being called human made. But I'm not legal. I'm not a lawyer to interpret that. Yeah, in this case, it's let's see the old one. It's real images, like there's a real eye, the real hands, the real skin that was under this, and then the AI things were used as textures. So there was still copyright over it. It's still kind of a, at least that's what we assume right now. It might be legislated in different ways in different places because it's still very much a thing that's up in the air in terms of, what AI counts as. But yeah, here's where we did the second part of mycelium infection, which was a commission by Sora. Thank you, Sora, for always commissioning the coolest stuff. And here's spoilers. This is what we're doing tomorrow, actually. The Nidhogg, which is, it makes me so sad because I really love this image and the concept, but the textures that make up the Nidhogg were also from AI, and we need to clean it up. We need to make a clean version of this because I want to have like a version of this I can be proud of. Dark Tab, thank you so much for the follow. So yeah, tomorrow we're taking the two Nidhogg images, these two, and we're essentially, I think we're gonna keep the shape, the general shape of things, but we're gonna just find substitutes for every texture that's used here. I think just like a shark face, probably a goblin shark or something, some deep sea fish, and other gross textures. And yeah, we're gonna make it anew and hopefully even better. Here's June 2022, we also get the Pride Flag found footage, which was spawned by this interaction with a TERF. If you don't know, a TERF is trans-exclusionary radical feminist. It's people who claim to be feminists but exclude trans people, and they'll have things like LGB. If you ever see LGB and they don't add the T, that's really worry. Like that's a TERF for sure. So I had this interaction, like somebody sent like, oh, can I send you an image so you can edit it? And I saw this. I was like, oh, that's a TERF. I checked the profile, of course, and it was like extremely transphobic. So I said, I'm gonna actually play like I'm gonna play a prank on this person. Like, I'm gonna say yes, send me your image, and they send me this like pretty milquetoast image of a forest, and I edited a trans flag into it, and I said, "Thank you, since you've been so kind, I'll go one step further and edit something that I'm sure will scare you a lot." And I edited trans flag, and I said, "Good riddance," and they said, "Oh, I'm just protecting women, supporting women's spaces doesn't make me a bad person." Anyway, it was a funny interaction, and they got blocked, obviously. And people like the concept of found footage pride flag a lot, so I asked people like give me a pride flag and a photo, and I made a bunch of them. And yeah, there's more I made last year as well. No, 2 years ago now. God, this was 3 years ago. God, we are time sure goes, doesn't it? So yeah, that spawned a nice little collection.
The giant non-binary inflatable person was my favorite and was my desktop background for a while.
Yeah, that's one of the ones from the following year. We'll show it later. Yeah, we'll keep going with the fractal. We have the branch. And we got the last big part of Megalomorpha. I promise it's not the last one. It's just I'm slow, but we got the Tio Alfredo story, iconic. We got the one layer angel. A lot of people have seen this. Not a lot of people know that I made this in a single layer in Photoshop as a challenge. And you know, like as it exists, like on its own, it's not my favorite image I've made. It's okay. But the fact that it was made without having layers on Photoshop, only using one, I gotta give myself points for that. What else do we have around here? We got some cryptids, a flatwoods monster. We got Nessie, Fortis Nessie, the best version of Nessie. We got night crawlers. How was I doing so many cryptids? Oh yeah, there was a cryptid month thing going, yeah. Another one of these prompt things with cryptids. I only made like 3. Advice when it comes to editing images, making them look good. There's a lot. Are you on the Patreon, Bill? I forget now. If you're on the Patreon, you got full tutorials, like 5 hours of tutorials. You can sink your teeth into. When you start making them thick, that was later. We still hadn't started my descent into madness and the caked up cryptids. That's a little bit further ahead. We're still in mid 2022, and we get the facade happens here. This collaborative series with my friend Luke Baker, and where we create this weird doppelganger creature that we follow through our history. We also get my own little prompt challenge called Curse Footage, just 10 days. And I made some smile.jpg, creepypasta. I made I used this little prompt challenge to sort of make like updated versions of some of my older pieces. So I made the live version of the human crab. I made the live version of the mermaids. I made meat planets, which I also edited this one to remove a couple AI textures. That was the only thing I still got AI textures on is the Nidhogg. But yeah, the second part of the meat planets. Goodbye, Bean. Some more folklore. Sumithiu, the personification of void. Yeah, I guess the first thick-ish cryptid was this one. I made it on purpose. I made it sort of thick on purpose. I thought it would be funny. Oh, Bean wants to go out. Hold on. Let me open the door for Bean. So we are getting to late 2022, and this is when I started. You know, uh, it started as cursed footage, which was this 10-day prompt thing, but then I decided to continue like a prompt challenge on Discord, and I called it Cursed Files as a continuation to Cursed Footage. The logo is pretty similar, and it's been on hiatus for a bit because I kind of want to change it up in some way. I still haven't figured out quite how, but starting after the end of Curse Footage there, every 2 weeks I posted a new prompt on the Discord. And at first I was like sort of religious, like I did them every 2 weeks. Then I fell behind, and then now I have a bunch of prompts that I haven't done myself, but I still have to catch up with some of these. But yeah, the warnings, this warnings collection was for a prompt, was for one of these prompts, which was warning. This was for a prompt called Buried. It's Buried Demon. This was for a prompt called Hollow. So that's another classic right there, the Parasitoid Wasp. And if I recall correctly, around this time is when Elon Musk bought Twitter. A lot of things started changing in social media. It was a strange time, and I was on Tumblr. I had started like fairly recently on Tumblr, and I was just sort of kind of going insane there. And that's where a lot of my weirder stuff comes in. First of all, I canonized Teriel. This is one of the most important things I've ever done. This started as a joke. Teriel. We were joking on the Discord that we're talking about fandoms and stuff, and I was saying like I couldn't really have a normal fandom because normal fandoms need like characters to ship, and I don't really have characters. But then we joked like, oh, maybe Terry and Googliel. Those are the only like two things that could be called characters. and obviously people latched onto that extremely quickly, and like immediately within minutes there was fan art of Googliel and Terry. Very quickly got the name Teriel, and the rest is history. Eventually, like this was a few months before this. Eventually, like I made a piece to like make it canon. The Enchentification really took off late 2022. Blue Sky and Tumblr, yeah, those are nice places to post. And yeah, I started going insane on Tumblr. Somebody sent me a picture, and I put a Fresno Nightcrawler with a cake there, and then other people started sending me pictures, so I started doing the same. Well, I told people on Tumblr, send me pictures, and people like eagerly sent me pictures thinking I would make them. I would post like creepy monsters on them, and I just kept adding the same thing. Just kept adding cake top Nightcrawlers, and they would just get more and more caked with time. Like, just got worse and worse. And eventually I did caked up cryptids. Like, I think this was the next day or a few days after. I did Mothman and Nessie. You constantly wear that t-shirt to events. I love that, Mectel. I also did the hoodie fan art. I was watching the Owl House. But yeah, we're getting into 2023, and just before we finished, I did this little series, which is not really a series. It's this is not really edited. This is a little edited, and these last few ones are really edited. But I found a collection of pictures from a burnt down phone center, like telecommunications center in the middle of Stockholm that burnt down. And you had all these like fallen blackened cables and stuff. It was such good, creepy imagery that I took this collection of images, slapped them together into a little series where we're following something up till we get to this weird heart at the center of it. That's where the actual burn happened. As you can see, everything here is like melted. So that was a fun one. That one lives on Tumblr. Folks, people are horny for the machine. I'll tell you. People on Tumblr really horny for this. Also, accidentally, I think my most popular in terms of like numbers of likes and stuff. I think this might still be my most popular piece I've ever posted, and I made it in like 5 minutes. And sometimes social media is like that. They really, really are. Oh, the JPEG is back. I thought everybody had spent their points. Oh yeah, we also made Twitter history before Twitter went completely down the shitter. We made a hashtag go trending on Twitter because Oki and Oki's a friend of mine, fellow streamer. Hopefully he streams more soon. But we decided to make some clowns on stream, and I don't know, Oki was making like a clown now for himself, and said like, oh, let me make a creepy story with a clown. And we started posting them online and created a hashtag called the troop, and told people like, post your clowns on the hashtag. And so many artists either made OCs specifically for the troop or just posted like drawings of clowns they had made. It got filled up so quickly, and it stayed trending for like a day, which was incredible. We really astroturfed that hashtag. It was really funny. Happy memories, the troop. That was a lot of fun. See, that was like right when the gentrification started there. Like it was Musk's Twitter at that point, but he still hadn't done like most of the shitty changes. So it still looked kind of like normal Twitter. There was just like this air of foreboding, like this. Something smelled strange and fishy on Twitter. Everybody knew it would eventually get filled with Nazis, which is exactly what happened. I don't love clowns basically was absent for this entire creative period. Fair enough. We got my third Santa piece. And this is when I raised money. Hey! That's a fake AI hand. No AI was involved in the making of this. I made some merch and donated all the money, all the proceeds from the merch to some fundraisers for Europe and the US to like lobby legislators for AI regulation. So we got like $1,000, which was really nice. What else? We got Clatterith, early 2023. We are expanding on the Googliel lore with Googliel's old friend, while the Fractal series continues with the Fractal Riots. This would be the last part in a while. Fractal would see a period of hiatus after this. I was actually working on a lot of Fractal stuff in the background, but not like full parts. Like all the Fractal stuff that you've been seeing, a lot of the images were like already made or half made because I was working on them like during this period. So even if you don't see like any new Fractal stuff in this little gallery, I was doing it in the background. It was there. We got the Dagon collection. That was a really nice Very nice commission. It was just like cursed items. I love this statue the most. I think it came out really creepy. Oh, and this one, the bone harpoon. Love this one. It's for a book that the whole concept for it was an auction of strange, like Lovecraftian cursed items. So I got it around. It's not in the back. Is it? No. I think it's in the living room. But I got this book somewhere around. We got Bean. Bean joins in early 2023.
Ah yes, reminiscence. I have a fair few memories including the recent caked edits as a personal highlight as of late.
The caked edits. Yes, we're right at the beginning of the caked era, so you came in at the perfect time, Kurt. But yeah, that's when Bean popped into our lives, and everything's been better since. Isn't he great? Yeah, these are all the Bean edits I made, I think, throughout February 2023, but he was home in January. So, you know, the edits are a little later, but the Bean anniversary is in mid-January. This was a chat creature. Oh my god, okay. This was a 24-hour stream. I got to do this at some point again, because it was a lot of fun, but that was a subathon. So if you don't know what a subathon is, it's a stream with a timer that keeps going down. And every time you subscribe to Twitch, or I had it so you could subscribe on Patreon as well, the timer would go up by a few minutes. And, you know, you got to keep streaming until the timer goes out. We lasted for 24 hours. We still had some spare time. I kind of called it. I cut it off at 24, but and streamed a little bit the next day. To kind of finish those hours. But one of the things we made is a chat creature where you guys sent me body parts and I mashed them into this blob. So some of y'all shout outs, and anyone in chat who has parts here. Siphon is there in the doorway. Hell yeah. Working on the dumb meme with Googly and Terry. Hell yeah. Can't wait to see it, Pyro. That's when we made this little series with the spirit photographer that you know, fakes the spirit photographies, but slowly you can see first two eyes, then slowly a figure starts appearing. And there's an actual ghost in the photos, and it's the ghost of his wife that he maybe killed. I love this story still. It's one of my favorite little short little threads. Here's another Teriel brain rot. I did a poster for a fake Teriel movie. Then this was for another prompt in the on the Discord called Censored. And I first have made a bunch of images, kind of like the warnings, where they're like each of them is separate. So I had like a censored reflection in the background, or a censored glowing person on a yearbook. But then I started landing on like a little idea that was more like a story. So these ones, I never did anything with them. But I did this little sequence where something censored first is in the stars, then is like a second sun. Slowly it comes down. And finally it lands. And it's this angel looking thing. Or is it? We never know. It's censored. It's nothing. Don't think about it. Don't worry. And here we have the second ever speculative biology thing. It is... Where's the first one? The first one is from late 2021. The second one is from mid 2023. And it would still be a one-off. Like, the actual like speculative biology stuff didn't start until 2024, so it was still like kind of just a one-off thing. You know, they got retroactively, they got grandfathered into the series, but at first they were just individual things. when joining your Patreon, what are the benefits of the $9 tier? So you can see all the benefits on the website, but the first tier is just digital. You get a newsletter at the end of every month with all the art I've done that month, work in progress stuff that I haven't shown on streams as well, and commission work. You get like all the art I've done that month, and you get to catch up with it without like social media algorithms hiding it from you. And you also get to participate in polls and stuff when they happen, and you get the Patreon Discord, and you get all the Photoshop tutorials. That's the digital stuff. If you get to the other tiers, those are physical tiers, and you get every 3 months, you get a little package that looks like this. Well, this will come in an envelope, but inside there are collectible photos, and they look like this. Oh, they're JPEGs, but you get the gist. You get collectible photos like this. For every month that you subscribe at the $9 tier, at the second tier, you get 3 of these. So if you're on that second tier, every 3 months you'll receive a pack at 9. Oh, I'm clear again. Perfect timing. So you get a pack at 9. So 3, 6, 9. You get this amount every 3 months if you're on the second tier. You get double this amount if you're on the third tier. So you get 2 packs like that. And for each of these packs, one of them will be scribbled. Like one of them, I will paint a little message on it with a marker. The cards are random though. It's like, it's like collectible cards. You get a random pack. And you can play games with them. Getting sleepy, so you might pass out. Sounds good, Maxwell. You sleep well. If you don't hear from me for a while, that's why. Oh, it's preemptive sleep well. Also, let me get the bean. Hold on. Where's the bean? He came in screaming. You want to say hi, Bean? No? You want to drink water? Okay. Does the $9 tier include everything from the first tier, along with collectible photos? Yes. Yes. For the physical tiers, you get all the digital stuff as well. What if one of the collectible photos with something JPEG beyond recognition? That would be funny. Okay, so where are we? We are in March 2023. We got the gnome. Still love this one. And an unfortunate incident tied to it, where apparently just at that time there was a Nazi dog whistle going on around on TikTok of all places, where people were using like gnomes as like code for Jewish people. And I had no idea about this. I posted a picture with a dead gnome, and I actually got some Nazis. It got reposted by one of those big like animal accounts, like, animals going goblin mode or one of those on Twitter. And it got exposed to a bunch of actual Nazis who were doing the dog whistle on my comments. I was like, banning people left and right. But yeah, I still love this image. Unfortunate incidents aside. Bean. Hi, Screamer. Come over. Come say hi to chat. Come. Hey. Hey. Ooh, my biceps. My biceps still hurt in the gym the other day. Oh, I'm not used to sports. I'm not a strong guy. Exactly, we can't let Nazis ruin our fun. Bean, no, don't eat my eraser. He loves eating my eraser. This. I'm gonna hide it in my pockets. or you don't get it. Okay, so where were we? Gnomes. We're also making ass scripted edits. Bean, don't eat things. Don't eat all my stationery. So we got the lovely ass frogman, and we got the third mermaid, and second dead one. The whale fall mermaid. And the third part of Sheepetotek. Oh, and we were talking about this. June 2023, we did the second part to the found footage pride flags. And made a few more. Oop. This one, Silence Bigot. This is the original. There's the rainbow flag. And more trans flags. Also, this one I still love. Trilobites are back. I love doing silly things like this. I should do them. I should do more like that. You give your life for the new coral reef. Exactly. It's a cycle of life, baby. Here's the glitch series. This was another one for the cursed files prompt challenge on the Discord. And the prompt was glitch. So I made a bunch of glitched things in real life.
Trilobites areback is one of the images that just makes me laugh when I see it.
I love it's such silly humor from me, but I love the trilobites are back. What else do we have around here? We got more beans. We get... Oh, okay. So around this time, I don't do a lot on social media. I'm kind of silent because I'm secretly doing a bunch of images for the Book of Bill. So here's the face collection. I think everybody knows this one. There's a previous version of it. The final one gets text and stuff. Here's my face. Hi, Bean.
Valdevians.
Valdevia. So yeah, working on this in secret was so hard. I still managed to get a few streams in, and I did a series of streams right around Halloween in 2023, where like I think it was like the week leading Bean. Don't do that. Just trying to do mayhem. The week like leading to Halloween, I did a stream every day where the theme would be like a different fear, specifically fears that affected me. So megalophobia, like fear of like really, really large things. I still love this image. It's mostly drawn, like the only textures are like bold cat textures that I added here. And I think a little bit of the veins on the eyes. We got the slide rock bolter from that time. That was a fun one. We got my own self-portrait. Hello, that's me. Mushroom me. That's my profile pic in most social media, if not all. But yeah, if you want to get like context for this in the past, this little series of streams was me making up for not being online a lot because I was working on the Book of Bill. I wasn't streaming during this time because this was a lot of work. So I made like when I had some time off from the Book of Bill, because you know I would do stuff before and after, but like I had a week where I didn't have that much to do for it. I decided I'm gonna do a week of streams. Then we get the fetus mimic. I was kind of scared of doing this because, you know, pregnancy is a scary topic, and you know, obviously don't want to send like weird messaging. You don't want to get like anti-abortion people like latching on accidentally to your message. But it came out great, so I'm really happy with this, how it was handled. This was another commission by Sora. Sora, you rock. You're awesome. Thank you for making me do the coolest commissions. And here we have our yearly Santa, which means we are getting into 2024. As you can see, 2023 compared to 21, 22, not as packed of a year for art, because I was doing things like the Book of Bill. So there's less of the other stuff, but for a good cause, I hope. Miscommissioning me, you can always let me know, Sora. I'll make space for you. You know it. We got the fourth part of Terry. We're already getting into... No, we're nearly at 2024. We did this in January 2024 for Bean's anniversary, or Beaniversary, when we made him a little cake for being with us for 1 year. Does your patron accept Greenlight as a form of payment? As a debit card? I have no idea what Greenlight is, but it should accept debit cards. Give it a try. It's Patreon itself that handles the payments. So that side of it is a bit of a mystery to me. Here's the Quellivide, one of my favorite folklore things I've done, and one of my favorite folklore creatures. It's the dragon, the dragon from Asturias. I said dragon with a Spanish accent because I was switching accents. Sometimes it happens. So yeah, the Quellivide is like a huge winged serpent. And here's where we actually start doing the speculative biology stuff. So begins in 2024. I did the shamefaced boulder crab. Still love this one. We did the leechweed. Parasitic plants. And it's another one I really like. And of course, we gotta stop to do big booty cryptids like the Thickwoods Monster. Ain't nothing flat about that. Bean, come over, Screamer. What do you eat? I think he stole one of my erasers. I'll get it later. He's not eating it actively, so. Here's the April Fools from 2024, where I took an image, barely edited it, like I added some vignettes and darkened this doorway, and then posted it online saying there was a ghost in it, and people went insane looking for the ghost. It was really funny. So yeah, 2024 was a year of a lot of medical horror, a lot of speculative biology. I think we did Argilosis, I don't know how to pronounce that. We did the false caustics that burn you. We did the devil mask. The teeth that grow into your skull. We did the dead unicorn, which is kind of a sequel to the dead gnome. I did some images for Home Safety Hotline. That was a lot of fun. Another great commission to do. Some Christmassy images that I did in May. We did Spine Barnacle, medical horror, Bloodbark Tree, speculative biology, Bone Pearls, medical horror, Flesh Geode, speculative biology, Snakes Aren't Real, none of them. It's a silly one. I think Snakes Aren't Real is in the same category of art as Trilobites Are Back. It's just like an absurd statement. And I guess like in the middle, it wasn't all speculative biology. It wasn't all medical horror. We also did silly things. We did the cool S, the origin of the cool S as a rune. Full of little references in the runes, by the way. Here's a smiley face. Here's Among Us. Here's Loss. What else? Here's my signature, of course. And here's Uwu. I think that's all of them. Bedtime, Siegfried. Have a good sleep. Thank you so much for being here. Oh yeah, another fun commission that I did last year. The card for the Binding of Isaac card game for the Gemini boss monster. Got its own alt art card. What else we've seen? Oh, the Pride Month. So last year, instead of doing more found footage Pride flags, because I feel like I explored that quite thoroughly, I did the Pride Month demon. You know, when you take Pride Month as one word, it says the demon inside it. So Pride Month demon coming out of the closet. Literally, there's a closet there. And I did a bunch of flag versions. What else? Watermelon seeds. This is medical horror-ish, but also kind of a silly post. Because it is like the classic myth of if you eat a watermelon, it'll sprout inside you and you'll get a watermelon inside you. But taken very literally. So, kind of a silly take on medical horror. We did more stuff for the Book of Bill. So this was when the book was coming out, and there was a lot of promo stuff. There was stuff for the websites. We did this little countdown on a Twitter page with a bunch of Bill looking things. This is my favorites. We'll meet again. And the slight shape of Bill in the sky. A lot of stuff like that. We accidentally, and this was one of the pieces that I made originally for the book, that then like got cut out of the book. But there was this full page that was a conspiracy board, so we remixed it into something for the website. And I made this drawing playing on the Twink Bill that Tumblr had made, and you know, we both Alex and I found it really funny, and we said like let's keep it, let's make it pretty prominent in this one. And the internet went insane because it basically like accidentally canonized this version of Bill as like a sort of imposter that the real Bill hates. So, and if you're not familiar with this, I am sorry, or no, you avoided the worst part of Tumblr for the worst years. So, you're fine. Don't worry if you don't know about this. The Tumblr sexy man, yes. So that was a lot of fun. That was a good chunk of late 2024 was working on this, which is also why 2024. I mean, I went over 2024 fairly quickly. There isn't that much art compared to some other years because there were bigger projects like this, like taking a lot of time as well. I did a lot of stuff for Gen Loss, which is this little project by the YouTuber Ranboo. It's a little interactive game. And I made a bunch of the images for it. We got more Bean, of course. Check operating room. Oh, I think for me? Yes! This is awesome. I'm gonna make this my my profile picture on Discord. I'm saving this. This is going on the fridge. Which, by the way, if you ever wonder what the fridge looks like, let me just hold on. The fridge is getting so large that every time I open it, it has to stutter for a while. It has to load. But this is the fridge, and that's where I put all the art that people sent me. Ooh, look at that, beautiful. I look at it and it always cheers me up. And there's a specific Teriel folder. Very important. That's all the Teriel images. Oh, don't worry, Bill. I still appreciate the support, nonetheless. But yeah, this is incredible. This will be my profile pic on Discord really soon. And we're reaching late 2024. We have another classic, a new classic, I would say. The Scary Butterfly, the Ghost Buckeye. A really like solid entry into the speculative biology part of my art. I think kind of the poster child for it, I would say. It's my favorite, at least. Also, Powder Dreadfarer. One of the reasons, 2024 is a little lighter on content is because I've been working on Dreadfarer in the background too. So there's a lot of images that you've seen me work on stream. Let me pop up Dreadfarer here. And I've been doing a bunch of weird cursed artifacts and locations for the game. Hi, Bean. So some of the things, like the Bloodbark trees, originally a concept for Dreadfarer. This, originally a concept for Dreadfarer. Then I spun off into its own thing. The Geodes, again a concept for Dreadfarer. And we got other concepts of Dreadfarer that you haven't seen. The Golden Child, Living Stones, Weird Masks, Phoenix, Screaming Stones, weird globby deep sea life. Got weird areas like this buried colossus, this ominous white mountain, strange statue under the water, a rotting forest, things like that. That was a good chunk of 2024 as well. Yeah, exactly what Lilith says. Patreon is for when you can afford it. It's not at all a necessary part of supporting me. Any updates on when it's shipping out? Well, when we got test prints and stuff, we're still like hammering the mechanics for the encounters and stuff, which is taking a lot longer than we thought. There's a lot of encounters, turns out. We are making a chunky book, so that adds its own host to work. So it'll be good, but still cooking in some bits. I will update you as soon as we got something shippable. Yeah, we also another one of the things I've been working on in the background is Fractal, as I mentioned before, and we got the Fractal megastructures, which this image has been done since 2023, but I finished it I finished like this part of the series in 2024. It took me a while to get to it. Same with the medical horror bits, like the eye that I showed you yesterday. This one I had to edit it recently, but there was a version of this image that existed since like I think 2023, maybe even 2022. Like it's been there for a while. It's existed. It's been cooking, simmering in the background. But yeah, these two are new. This is the new stuff, and you know, this part of the fractal series, as you can see, 3 images. That means it's complete. I'm gonna post it on. Let me move this. I'm gonna post this on, I think, Monday, maybe early next week. That said, we're still in late 24. We got the final booty cryptid, the Sasquatch, and its prince. A great way, a great send-off to that iconic series. Then, what do we got around here? Oh yeah, I made some stuff because in November or October, November 2024, I was out in Japan for a good chunk of the month. So I made some stuff in preparation, like the JPEG disease. I love this one. It straddles the points between a little bit body horror and very silly. So that's the kind of stuff I love to make. We got fingernails growing everywhere. And we got my take on the witch as a sort of speculative biology type creature. Hey, Hecate. Should be in the Louvre. They don't let me into that place anymore after I showed them my art. Yeah, more medical horror. Oh, this was the stuff I made around Halloween. This was right after coming back from Japan. I made this little series of streams where I made some medical horror, some creatures lying under your bed, like this one, the Class of 48 one. Teeth weevils. I got an unfinished thing that's still sitting in my desktop. 2 unfinished things. The bottomless hole and my deflated self-portrait, which I don't really love. So those two are like in my desktop, taking space until I decide to finish them one day. Yes, the theme was nightmares. So, you know, your teeth falling out type nightmare.
I love the French.
Something under your bed, typical nightmare thing. And some of them were based on specific nightmares that people sent me. So someone had a nightmare where their veins grew out of their skin. So I made this. The Santa one for this last Christmas was me trying to catch it in a bear trap, and it escapes and leaves me a little note that says naughty. So I'm kind of setting up for next year where Santa is coming in with a vengeance. So we'll see what we do next year based on this. We got time to think about it. I also made a googly eye medical horror disease. This was one of the things, one of the stream things you can unlock with your points. So made this weird pox called Seraph Pox, where you get googly eyes all over your face, and it is caused by googly elm. We also made house meat. We're in 2025 already. It's a little chunk here, or in January, where I didn't make any like standalone art. Whoops. I was working on commissions mostly. Hi, Bean. Oh yeah, and also, yeah, that was when I was back at my parents and the computer broke. Yeah, there were a lot of like January, February, or like specifically January 2025, January this year. A lot of annoying little things like that. But we came back. That's what matters. February 2025. We're getting to the last stuff. You gotta savor it. We get fully into the speculative biology stuff. And I made the lighthouse mimics. Really love these. Bit of a more aggressive type of speculative biology concepts where it's like literally hunting humans. We got the flesh snowman. Just a one-off concept. I wanted to make a creepy snowman, basically. I got the tear bird, more spec bio, and it's a little parasite hummingbird. But it drinks your eye fluid. Experimented a bit with making video. With this very simple video edits of Bean's third eye opening. Fairly simple, but, you know, in concept, but in execution, you know, Bean was moving around all this time, so, and my camera was moving around, so matching this had to be frame by frame. So it took a bit of work, but it was good. And we got Beckett's. The Beckett saga. For those who don't know, I got contacted by a scammer on Tumblr. Really common thing that happens there. Don't fall for scams on Tumblr, please. That offered to buy the rights to my art. And I started messing with him. I said, oh, what kind of art? And it's like, oh, natural art photographs. Because I assume he saw the hummingbird and it's like, oh, this guy posts animals. So I started sending him my weirdest, like, meatiest stuff. And he's like, yeah, that. So I started saying, like, oh, I'm a doctor. And we started to get these weird cases of teeth growing. It's like, oh my god, that's crazy. Later on, I say, he died, unfortunately. And I got the scammer saying condolences to the family, which is really funny. So the final nail in the coffin of this scammer was me making him a bespoke edits where I edited this rotten hand with a bunch of teeth coming out from it. And I said, oh, I think I'm getting sick. I'm sorry, Bucket. I can't speak right now. I think I caught something. And he just replied, oh my god. And then stayed silent for like an entire day. And later on came in like, hey, how are you doing today? He was actually like worried for my health. I got him really scared. Later on, we tried to keep the joke going, but I think Beckett caught on because the next part of the story was that I died, and he didn't fall for that, or at least he stopped replying. He was probably like, "This got too weird. Goodbye." Constantly getting his name wrong. Yes, I gotta get this together into a little thread or something. What else did we make recently? The Globster. I love the Globster. Hi, Bean. You're screaming today. He's very active. You're really funny. You're a funny story now. Yes, you are. I highly doubt the scammer will be on this stream or on any streams. He's got to stay on the grind, scamming people. So yeah, I made this Globster, another silly idea, but I really love this concept of this like weird, unidentifiable dead body in a wet parking lot. And we made the next part of Shipetotek. That's the 5th part. We are getting to the point where Shipetotek is taking over a good chunk of the world. And a little bit later, just for April Fools, I made a fake out ending for the Shipetotek series, where everybody just realizes, oh, why don't we just eat the meat? And everybody just starts having huge cookouts and eats the meat planet. Some people thought That was the actual ending to the series. I was like, for real? Do you believe that? I'm glad I cultivated an audience that will just go along with that. No, that's really funny. You said lobster. It's hard to say globster. That would be a good ending, yes. Made this little piece for Dust and Dread, which is Q's comic, still ongoing. New pages have been posted the other day. So catch up with it if you haven't. Go read Dust and Dread. I will put up a link in the chat so you guys can read it. It's the latest episode of Dust and Dread, not the whole comic, just the latest episode. That's ongoing right now, being updated a few pages every Wednesday. It's been co-written by me, so you'll probably like it. Go read it. And here's the last thing I made. We got to the presents. After so much yapping, we got to the presents with the floater jellyfish. And the stuff I showed you before with the fractals, that's actually the latest, but it hasn't been posted. And we got other stuff that hasn't been posted yet either, like this whole series of megalomorpha images in a Shinto shrine. Oh my god, the Photos app is lagging. Look at this. Okay, let me close everything. It's actually lagging. There we go. Okay. As I was saying, the Shinto shrine megalomorpha. That, I think I got all the images. I think all the edited images at least. I still need some context images. I need to change the text in this one. And essentially just write the story. So that's where that one's at. There's also other parts of Megalomorpha that are tentatively being worked on. We got... Wait, where's this one? The statues. We got this one where a sculptor becomes obsessed with the Megalomorpha and starts like creating statues. But I still want to have a painting for this one. Because it's kind of like the Fisherman one, where it's like a specific character study on a single person. So this one's going to be about an artist. And we got this one with a strange tower and Zoroastrianism. Which again, it needs writing. I'm not happy with what I've written, and that's why it has never been posted. But I like this image a lot, so we got that going. Probably your favorite from the series. Thank you, Haggerty. So that's what's cooking in Megalomorpha. 3 separate parts. Some of them just been stuck there, but I think I might do a little like writing stream for the Shinto one in one of these days or one of these weeks, right? Whenever I got some time, I might do a little Megalomorpha writing stream where we just like figure out the story, get it like a first draft going, maybe. That might be good. Little different stream, change of pace. Yeah, what else do I have that I can show you right now? Fractals. I did mention this in the last fractal stream, but there are a lot of fractal images that I've done that I've never posted yet, because they're in the future of the series still. So after this body horror one that I showed you, there's going to be this one, which is going to show you the remnants of humanity after everybody starts dying. And then an epilogue millions of years into the future, where we're going to see an Earth without humans, where, you know, life is still thriving, just without us. So we got like beautiful fractal fish and fractal mountains and things like that. But no humans. Not anymore. The smallest megalomorph? This one? I don't think so. I think the Alfredo would be smaller than this one. Theo's wife, ex-wife. They're not speaking terms anymore. But yeah, that's in the future of the Fractal series. So you get glimpses of future Megalomorpha here, future Fractals there. A little bit of everything. Still a low work in progress, but hopefully stuff I can do over the next few months. I would be really happy if 2025 is the year where I finish the Fractal series. Like, I can call it done. And I think that would make me happy to finally finish like one of the big projects. And, you know, it might not be like the end of Fractals in general, but it would be the end of the series, the main series, that I could then like, maybe I can package that up, take that as like a pitch for a publisher and try to make a book that has the series in itself and then like little stories that happen throughout the series. So like a little bit of writing in there as well, and make it into sort of a coffee table book. But, you know, kind of future plans, very in the air. I would need a publisher first and foremost. That would pay me a decent advance for it and take care of the actual printing. But that's, you know, plans. The other one did unnerve you. I got another Megalomorpha that might be quite unnerving. That's a future one. It's the Flea Megalomorpha. Because fleas are very interesting, and having a Megalomorpha that's smaller, it's not like as big as a human. It's like maybe as big as your head or a little bit bigger. And it's like stuck on someone's back, like constantly drinking their blood and like slowly, very itchy, slowly like killing them. I think that would be really interesting. And I kind of got like the concepts of a story for it, where it's this old man or old lady who's lost their spouse, and the Megalomorpha is like acting as like the force of grief in this person, and it's like slowly killing them. I think that would just be an interesting story to tell, right? But yeah, let's go on camera. Let's go on camera and clear my desktop. Yeah, just like lots of little stories planned for the future. That is so tragic. You'll see. Why? Because I'm evil. I want to make sad stories too. Not a Megalomorph, please, circus. I'm sorry, Hecate. Not in that direction at all. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we also got, hold on, there's stuff in my desktop I haven't shown you. Well, I've shown you it's on streams, but we got the Colonoised album cover, or, you know, album art. One of them is going to be the cover.
You remember that opening sequence from Map? What if we added Grifflies?
Exactly. So, this is a little sequence of 4 images showing an infection by a parasitic wasp that creates a hive in your flesh. So its descendants create a hive in your flesh. It starts small, slowly takes over your body, until you are essentially just a big human hive. So that's the gist of it really quickly. That's still like, I still got to put this together in a booklet. The client is going to send me some writing. I'll put it together and do the album cover as well with one of these 4 images. I still don't know which one. I think it might be like either of these 2 for the actual cover. Oh, good night, Pyro. Parasitic and parasitoid wasps are so cool. They are, and there's an actual eusocial parasitoid wasp. Eusocial meaning they have like specific, workers and soldiers and stuff, which is really interesting. That there's like a parasite that creates little colonies with workers. So it's kind of based on that. So yeah, that is upcoming as well. It's for clients, it's for commission. So, it's going to depend on that and on the timing for that release. But when it is released, you'll see it on socials and everywhere. Yeah, I think that's all I can show you on my desktop. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I kind of skipped over the ziggurat. The ziggurat is like 50 images that I've never posted. Once again, my eternal nemesis is writing, and that's another story that got stuck at writing, where I had a very good visual concept, but not a good, just like story in terms of writing to go with it. So it kind of got stuck there, and also at the concept that, everybody was talking about the back rooms, and the story was so similar, like the visual concept was so similar to the back rooms that I dreaded the comparison. So that's why it's been simmering. It's been simmering in my folders for years. But yeah, it's called The Ziggurat, and it's a story about exploring this huge, senseless space that is in a door in my parents' like under my parents' house. There's a strange door that has no handle, and one day I open it and it starts like a weird like industrial hallway, and slowly it just starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more abstract, and you just get lost in this weird brutalist hellscape, essentially, underground. And yeah, also the concept of it was going to be a thread on Twitter. I don't want it to be that anymore, because Twitter sucks, and I want it to be kind of social media agnostic. Like, I don't want it to exist only on social media websites. So it needs its own formats, which kind of sucks because it was designed kind of for this like live tweeting thing. But yeah, that's why it's been there. It's been stuck. I'm gonna show you images. I'll show you what the ziggurat looks like. When did I make this? 2022, 2021. I forget. Oh yeah, 2022. So, starts with this strange handle-less door that opens into a corridor. And at first it starts like this weird industrial space. But you keep going down and down and down, down, and it just starts getting stranger and bigger.
What about screenshots of a TikTok and its comments that has been since been removed and the only evidence are the screenshots?
That sounds like a lot of work, and also like it's TikTok. I don't want to make it TikTok specific. No, I think it's gotta exist in its own place, you know? But yeah, it just keeps getting weirder, bigger, and more brutalist and abstract. And there's these huge pits everywhere. And at the end, it starts getting like just kind of strange, a little bit glitchy. There's a couch that makes sense in the story. There's a dog that makes sense in the story. That's my parents' dog. And my parents' couch too. And finally, after disappearing for a while, I find an exit. It's, you know, this abstract area starts like getting rougher and rougher until it looks like this quarry. And I explore this endless quarry until I find a crack. The crack leads into these kind of rough stairs, and finally you get to the back to the end, and you finally see the lights. That's the gist of the ziggurats. But that's just the visual side of it. I need good writing, and then good formats. Those are the two roadblocks. Neo cities. Yeah, it would have to be like blog post or something. I don't know. I feel like it should be something more immediate than that, but I still don't know. Your parents' house is weird, mate. I don't know who built that. It's definitely not my parents. But that's things I've made and they've never seen the light of day, except for you guys. That's so many things I've made end up like that, but it's fine because the ones I do make it out,
Whoever built that
the ones that
did not
matter.
build it to code. It would so.
The mega city superstructure in the water heater unit. Yeah, at the end of the day, what matters is the stuff that you do put out. Even if some stuff gets stuck in the cutting floor, however you say that. Or, you know, maybe stuck waiting for an opportunity to be finished. So that's where the ziggurat is. That's where a couple parts of Megamorpha are. But it doesn't matter. We're still putting out stuff. That's what's important. And tomorrow we got another kind of throwback. As I mentioned before, we are remaking the Nidhogg images. These two, which are the only two things that have AI textures that I've made, and it's a shame to me because I really love this concept. I love the background images and the concept of this like kaiju that's so normalized that everybody just goes out and takes photos every year when it emerges. So I wanna have a clean version of this concept and these images. We got the background images. That's what matters. That's the important stuff, in my opinion. So, and like what we got to change is essentially this, which is the subject, I know, but I don't feel like it'll be that hard because we just need like a new face and then like a sort of blobby body and some textures to add to that blobby body. Kind of trying to keep it like more or less the same shape, but change out the textures. That's basically it. I think it's eminently doable. We'll see tomorrow though. That's for tomorrow's stream. Very Ultraman, yes. I'm repenting for my sins, exactly. I went on a pilgrimage. Last week. I reached Santiago. Now I gotta atone for my sins. Bill, you don't have to be sorry for missing a bit of the stream. Calm down. You're fine. In any case, it's getting quite late, and we've gone through, I think, most of my art from over the years, which is quite a lot. I do a lot of art, don't I? I should slow down. I won't. Don't worry. I'll never slow down as long as I have ideas. It was a fun recap and a fun way to celebrate 5 years, which is so much, and yet so little. Like, it's still a small part of my life, and though it feels like, you know, it's my job currently. It is what I do for a living, so it feels so big, and yet it's only been 5 years. So depending on the perspective you put into it, it's still a very long time, or kind of a short time, honestly. But we're hopefully we got a lot more years of just weird horror in front of us, and weird things, and things that are not horror as well, because I've been drawing too. I've been branching out. I like changing things up, and I don't know, maybe someday I'll just draw dragons. Probably not, but who knows? Who knows where art will take me? What I know is that when I was doing completely different stuff, I was doing surreal art, and I switched to horror when I was starting to do it. I was actually really scared of the perception, because I figured, oh, everybody who knows me and who follows me knows me for this sort of art. What will they think? Nobody will like this. And yet it just found its new audience, and I just had to like take the plunge and try it. And that's, I think that was a big lesson learned, that I just got to do what I like, even if it feels like different from what I've done before, and I feel like, you know, there's different expectations. What matters is that I do something I like, and I'll hopefully find the people who will like it as well. It certainly has, which is all of y'all. Hopefully. If you're watching and you hate my work, why are you here? Hate watching? In any case, yeah. Thank you all. Hi, Bean. Thank you all for the just amazing support from the people who literally physically support me using things like Patreon, which I'm endlessly thankful for. And if you wanna, if you got bucks to spare and you want cool little cards, get on that link, and you support me and you get fun things in exchange. So it's a good exchange, hopefully. But yeah, from the people who are on the Patreon, or have gotten commissions, or have gotten merch, have gotten like physical support, from the people who've just like been on stream and given out ideas, shared my stuff, told a friend. Like, honestly, in this era of social media and shitification, there's nothing like telling a friend. So I'll say this not only for me, for any artist that you like. Make a little list of artists that you like and send them to your friends. They'll appreciate it because it's a nice little gesture. Like, I'm thinking of you. Here's something you might like as well. It's a nice gesture for your friends, and it's the best way of spreading like art and media that you enjoy. And I think it should be done more. So go tell your friends, tell your family, that sort of thing. And for those who do or will do or have done that, thank you so much for your support, because that's honestly, that's the best. That's what I love. But I should probably stop yapping because it is getting quite late. I've been holding you guys hostage for nearly 4 hours now. So it is high time I let you all go on with your days. Go to bed, whatever you need to, and we'll be back tomorrow for actual arts, less reminiscent. We gotta just gotta take a self-indulgent day to just rest on our laurels, I guess, and just reminisce about the past a little bit. 4 more hours. I don't know if I got it in me. Let you out of my basement. Horror photo points. You will look at this and be frightened and like it. Exactly. Once again, thank you all for your support over the years. So much. And if you're down for more streams, I'll be back tomorrow. Unless my sleep scheduling has been a little weird, so if my sleep schedule gets in the way, I'll let you know on the Discord. But normally tomorrow we got another regular stream, and more next week, so hope you all are there for that. Until then, folks, have an amazing time zone and take care.